Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Elo Hell Get Good NA Division series. That is also the beginner division.
I think we're actually in rookie there, Bebby.
Rookie. There we go.
I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure it is rookie.
Yeah. Honestly, rookie and beginner are synonyms in my eyes, but maybe that's because of my lack of vocabulary skills. But either way, it is Bemi. Along with me is Piper and Malburb on the ones and twos. So how you doing, Piper?
Oh, I am doing absolutely fantastic there, Bemi, and we have a very exciting match coming up here between the Louisiana Purchase and Team Chaos here for your Friday night. And I think we're gonna get a good match in here, Bemi.
I think we will. I mean, these are some of my favorite series. Is when your back's against the wall in some way. I mean, both of these teams are 0-2, Piper. So obviously, we're finally going to see some wins. Let's talk about these rosters real quick, if you like.
Oh, of course. I mean, we don't have to look any further than Louisiana Purchase, and a quick shout out to Paddington. And they are, of course, one of Elo Hell's big graphic design personnel, right along with Sad there. So shout out to Paddington for helping out with the Elo Hell staff.
Oh, they've done a lot of cool things. They've also done a lot of event organizing. Pad has a lot of hats. It's not just the bear with the rain hat. It is quite a lot of hats wearing in production as well. So we thank you for their hard work. Now, if you want to learn anything about Team Chaos, too bad! Liquid PD ain't going to even help you here. It is almost an entirely different roster than we are working with since the beginning. So we're about to get into this. And we'll talk about let's talk about the maps and maybe some speculations of comps that we should be seeing. And the first one's going to be Busan, Piper.
I mean, there's a lot that these teams could do here. I think the thing that I would be expecting most from both these teams, looking at the DPS front, is that Mei. I would not be shocked at all if we saw Mei here, because there are so many different angles that you can use to set up those walls to divide the opposing team, and then you can just clean up. Probably we'll see on that tank front, probably something along the lines of a Reinhardt Diva that's been very popular lately. That would kind of be what I would be banking on seeing here from these two teams.
Definitely Death Ball at certain elos, or the Reinhardt Diva, which has been starting to come up more and more, even in Overwatch League plays. It's been kind of interesting to see. DPSs have been very construed in a lot of different ways. We do have to wait for them to come out of spawn, which is in 10 seconds, but I do see the merit of the McCree going back. Now, with the McCree, there's not a lot of openings in Hangar to really get a proper flank, so how do you use this McCree very efficiently?
Honestly, I would be expecting to see more of a front-lining McCree role, playing right around that Reinhardt shield, looking for flashbangs against the opposing Reinhardt to try to create openings for your teams, as well just using that right-click spam and the roll to really burst down shields and give your team the opportunity here.
Well, let's see if they can find any opening on the side of Chaos. I mean, there's double shield happening right now. They do manage to get the Sun. Oh, but collapse. Nice wall coming in from Mei. It will be able to find that main tank, and the main tank going down historically, no matter what meta it's been, Piper has dictated the win of the fight. They will be able to separate the McCree, wash that down, and Chaos very efficiently just taking down the main tank and sort of wiping out Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah, that was a perfect wall coming in from Minecraft. You had that perfect little choke point, and Chaos, they just put up that wall at that perfect time. They were able to clean things up, and it looks like they might have done the same thing here there, Bebby.
Massive wall coming out here. Huge anti from both sides, though, so that boosted Anna is going to be able to make their team look unstoppable at this moment. And alt economy-wise, we do still see it relatively even, though, Piper, so there's at least that.
I think the biggest thing here is jacked up with this shatter. They're going to be looking here to set that up and land it probably on the back line, try to catch out the Ana, the McCree, maybe the Mei as well, but this is a cheeky flank, but Jacked Up might be able to catch them out here with the shatter.
They do manage to catch out with the shatter, does at least find one person, but is it going to be enough? It will be able to do it. Crustado going down, Deadeye as well, Sven on the high ground able to find two, both supports unfortunately going down, and Jack Up will just swing it away. And it was a very nice shakeup of playstyle, but unfortunately just not going to be enough.
And that was all on the geometry there. Sven just far enough back that they were able to get the angle over top of Collapse's shield and clean up the backline of the Louisiana Purchase. and now we're going to have to see them reset here. They do have a Shatter and a Deadeye of their own here. They're going to need to use that here to try to get back into this, and that's a good opening pick from Cristado.
Yeah, Minecraft going down means the Q drops a Blizzard on the side of Chaos, so this could be a good opening, but collapsing going down is massive. But Quinn, oh my gosh, another double Deadeye, able to find the third, gets spent down, and they will be able to flip it over. Huge anti or not, if you can't follow it up, it's not going to be enough, but there we go, finally Luigi at a purchase. After 200 years, we'll finally be able to keep going.
And that is exactly what they needed to do there with that Deadeye, finding the kills, putting the pressure on Jacked Up, and once that shield was dropped, just hitting that nice left click, getting the double. The big thing is now, how are they going to defend against this combo coming in? They have the grab and the Blizzard available to Team Chaos. We're going to have to see something big here come in from the Louisiana purchase if they're going to want to be able to skirt around this.
Well, they managed to get a huge block off that Shatter, so that's going to be a good way to start off things. However, Quintessence, it's going to go down, but the Blizzard's massive and the Fire Strike! 3K right off the bat! This ain't mini golf, son. This is the 100-yard mark. He's going to be able to wipe it out. Nano Boost Reinhardt comes in, but it's all by themselves. Maybe able to find one. A nice sleep. We'll be able to get the pin, and the Nano Boost is gone. All they did was lose a couple of DPSs, and this was massive.
That sleep coming in from Spectral was absolutely huge. Jacked Up had the ability to clean things up there for Team Chaos, but the Chaos got the better of them there as Spectral hits that sleep, shutting them down. This is still anybody's fight here. We're seeing the percentage get up to 60% here for the Louisiana purchase. We're going to have to see what this grab can get here from Monk Penguin. That is going to be the win condition here for Team Chaos to get back on this point.
Well, it's a nice grab coming in here, but they need to follow up. Nice wall will make things a little bit awkward position. Spen does drop the Deadeye, will be able to find at least one target. Earthshatter comes in, though. Can they find anything? Not to be the case. Spen just with the stuns and able to shoot them down. A good aggression with the sound barrier to allow them to push in. And, I mean, that was a lot of Qs, but they managed to get the point back.
And that's all that matters really at the end. They're able to flip it back over now, and we are heading into one fight territory here, Bemi. But saving grace, the ult economy for both these teams is really low right now. Only Quintessence has this Deadeye, and we've seen them have great effect with it before. So if they can make something happen here with that Deadeye, they could get back into this.
Well, they're already separated right now, and it's going to be a little bit awkward. Unless maybe there's a huge Deadeye can come in. 3K! Nobody's going to be able to block it up. Jack, that was so focused on winning the Ryan fight, that's not going to be enough. Quinn gets the fourth. It's going to be the cherry on top, and I don't even think there will be time to contest. They can get up aggressively on Louisiana purchase.
And that was such a quick cleanup. The spawns are just coming in now. They only have 5 more seconds here. We might be able to see the Lucio touch here, but I don't think they're going to be able to, especially with that pull.
Beautiful stuff right there. A nice little halt. Will be able to put the final nail in the coffin, and what was a close back and forth. I mean, Jacked Up really just kind of let Quinn go ham there.
And that's exactly what happened on that first double that Quintessence got. It was Jacked getting a little bit too far forward, not able to use that big rectangular Reinhardt shield to block off the angle that Quintessence had, and that just opened it up there with a huge 3K coming in from Quintessence, just absolutely shutting down Chaos in their tracks. And we're going to see that first point go the way of Louisiana purchase off some really big Deadeyes from Quintessence.
Yeah, that's something you can't not disregard, is that when the McCree's on the high ground, you got to make sure you protect your team and his address. With the Maze, you can contest the McCree's because you have the Icicle and the secondary fire, which is great, and also the Ice Walls as well to deny it. But if you don't address the McCree, it is just... literally, if you don't address any hero, they are just invincible.
Oh, 100%. And I think what happened there was a little bit of tunnel vision going on. We saw Collapse, Paddington, and one other member, I think it might have been Spectral, get onto that point ahead of the rest of their team. So I think the tunnel vision kind of kicked in for Chaos, especially because Boosted Anna hit such a nice ante on those 3 that they just focused on that collapse, try to collapse on the 3 members that are contesting the point because it was heading into overtime. And that just opened up the door for Quintessence because they were so focused on cleaning up those 3 people. And that's just how it ended up going down for them.
Yeah, honestly, that is pretty much the way the news goes sometimes. So, I mean, tunnel vision is understandable is in a game like Overwatch. The esport has so much going on at once that it's hard to keep track. But that's why, as the supports, sometimes that's your job to be spatially aware of everything. If you're ahead of everyone, you do have the information for sure, but you don't know the positioning of your teammates and what they can and cannot see. But we'll see what they can do on Sanctuary. It is going to go for the Symmetra. Louisiana looking to set up very early on the point, seeing what they can do here, sacrificing that McCree may be worth it if they can get a good set and a good pick initially. A nice ice wall will keep things awkward. Jacked up, almost going down at half health. But we also see now a little swap up with the D.Va as well. Should be able to eat more damage. So it'll be interesting to see what this trade-off does in here. We do see Spen going around the back. We'll be able to find Cristaro, but while they were doing that, 2 members will go down right away. And already the point has been captured by Louisiana. They'll have to regroup here on the side of Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos, you guys need to get out here. This fight is already done and dusted. If they don't get out here, they're running the risk of heavily staggering themselves. It looks like they are going to get out. I think the biggest thing that's worth noting about this matchup is the Ana versus the Moira here. If Spectro can keep hitting big anti-nades like happened on Jacked Up there, the Moira is not going to be able to heal that up. So all that raw healing output that Moira has is going to be completely negated. As well, you look, their ult charge is very similar here, so we're going to have to see if Spectral can keep hitting these nades. That is going to put such a compositional advantage here for the Louisiana purchase going forward.
I'm also scared of the sleep dart. Those have been really good, but however, speaking of scary, Jacked Up, able to find a nice fit into that, pushing in with the Moira ult. However, does get the trade, and I mean, having an Orisa on your side with the Symmetra ult is not bad. You get a lot of cover, a lot of information to take in while you work on it. Nice sound barrier as well will keep them alive. However, this means that they've used a lot of their ultimates, so the next thing that comes into play will be massive spend going down, though. Minecraft might not feel like they want to drop the Blizzard here in this situation.
Nice
Cyberfish does also have this Blizzard ready as well. This could be massive. Jacked Up does manage to get Paddington, but the Earth Shatter comes in from the other side. It's a massive shatter, and they will be able to clean up and hold on to ultimates, and now looks like they're able to play catch up just fine. And unfortunately, Boosted Ana dropped the Coalescence even though the fight was already over. Does get 2 impressively though, but it's not the point.
And I think credit where credit's due. The whole series of events leading up to that big, huge fight comes down to Paddington and that sound barrier for Louisiana purchase. That kept them viable going into that big, brawly ult fight, and that's what's kept them in it. But this brawl fight is still going on, but they've got the point up to 90%, so they can afford to back off here, save their ultimates, come back in, and just win one fight, take the point.
Interesting call to drop the self-destruct pieces, especially when you saw that Louisiana was planning to back away. They do manage to play for the point, they will back out. But yeah, absolutely, like you said, Paddington, they did a wonderful job with that Sandberry momentum, because at that point, you're just building up percentages. Alt economy now, looking at this Piper, it looks like it could be easy for Louisiana to take this back.
It could go either way, though. The only thing that I'm worried about, though, is the lack of a shield that Chaos has. We saw Jacked Up make the swap over to the ball. They're going to have to... They're in a weird spot. They don't really have any other dive DPS, so they're going to have to find a way to coordinate their dives and also get rid of the shielding that is currently available to Louisiana purchase.
Oh, man. And, well, I mean, the suspense is building. We got to pause real quick.
Nothing better than the pause to build the suspense. And if we look a little bit deeper here, Bemi, into the ultimates that are available here, we see Blizzards available on both sides. And I think it's going to come down to who can get that Blizzard out first and catch the most members of the enemy team.
Well, you do say that, Piper, but I also think there's another factor to it as well if you want to look at a difference in tank. I mean, Monk Penguin is going to be able to probably eat that Blizzard if they manage to find the opening. And this is maybe why they swapped back over and why we're seeing the D.Va a lot more. There's so many projectile ultimates nowadays happening, and so many projectile DPSs showing up into the meta, or just literally projectiles in general, that you can eat a lot more easily as to D.Va. So, you know, this Blizzard coming in could be absolutely denied if Cyberfish does not find the opening and throws it low to the ground without going in way of where the Matrix is.
That's definitely going to be a consideration here, but again, looking at this tank lineup of Chaos as well, they lack the critical shields that they need to survive here.
Oh boy, well, Minecraft drops the Blizzard, but they will go down, but it seems like the Deadeye will be able to help follow up. They do press a lot of Qs, though, on the side of Chaos, so, I mean, while they do manage to hold on to the point, this does allow, potentially, for Louisiana to have the upper hand coming into the next fight.
And I think Louisiana realized that once the Blizzard got thrown up by Minecraft, they're now they just have to play a slow fight into this. Build up Crustado and Collapse's ultimates and Paddington's as well, and then go in there and use them all. One decisive fight. That's all you need at this point. You're only going to have to worry about the 2 ultimates that Chaos has available. You can easily overwhelm them just by sheer force of ultimates right now.
Well, make sure to find those openings as soon as you can. We'll see how this goes out. They really want to find something opening with this ice wall. Blizzard will come out, the landmines will come in fruition. But Soundberry nicely done will allow them to just push and eat a little bit of damage. And there we go. 1 by 1, they're going to go down. They're going to be able to flip over this point. Deadeye will come out, though. Quinn will be able to fall through, nicely done. And, I mean, they still have Collapse's Earth Shatter to delay the inevitable, which is also trying to flip back to this point. We are going to see a little bit of staggering comp switching over here. We see Minecraft, but a nice ice wall may deny that. 2% left remaining on the go. They are going to come in as quick as they can. Earth Shatter comes out, it doesn't find anything, but that's fine. Right click McCree will just come into play. Quinn will be able to find Minecraft. Nicely done. Fine spin, as long as this Tracer's not a treble or a third in their side, they should be fine. They will be able to just swing them out of there. Another ice wall coming in. We do have to deal with the ball 1 by 1 though. This is staggering comp. They're not going to be able to build ultimates fast enough. Yep, the whisk will go down, and that is a 2-0 for Louisiana. Very efficiently done.
That fantastic win from them there. We saw at the start of that fight a great Blizzard coming out by Cyberfish to split the side of Chaos, and then that beat from Paddington just providing so much sustain, allowing them to push forward, get through those minefields that were trying to deny them the space, and they're able to just steamroll their way onto the point. And let's just revel in this nice play here coming in from Quintessence. Really was the MVP there on that first point. Definitely helped them build up a lot of ground.
Massive indeed, but but also as we were talking about, with just the fact that they were able to have Paddington be a very unsung hero in that moment was really nice to see. Those sound barriers allowed them to keep up that momentum that they had, and it was great momentum. But we'll see if this momentum can keep up in the next map. It is going to be Rialto, and you don't want to miss it, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a quick break. And welcome back to the GGNA Rookie Division. Is Team Chaos versus Louisiana. And we did see that the Louisiana purchase managed to get the 2-0 quite efficiently in a very stellar way of both efficient shot calling and a lot of health just dumped into both the tanks and DPS thanks to some amazing healers. I'm Bemi, along with Piper. We're moving into Rialto. Piper, what should we be expecting going into this map?
I think what we'll be seeing here, mostly from the Louisiana purchase side of things, is I definitely would not be shocked if we saw that double shield of the Orisa and the Reinhardt that we saw from them earlier. I think it worked really well for them, and I think on a map like Rialto, where you have it's a very even plane. There's not a lot of high grounds that people tend to go up. You tend to play on one level playing field, so you're not really disadvantaged in terms of the lack of verticality that Orisa has. I would probably expect to see something like that. Over on the Chaos side of things, I think they need to go back to having some sort of shield in their tank lineup. We saw them at the end there. They were playing with the Ball Diva, didn't bother to go back and make the swap. And I think going forward, they're always going to have to make sure that they have some sort of shield in front of them. Otherwise, I think they're just going to get run over like we saw happen there on that last point.
Agreed. And that's a gray area for a lot of teams as well, is whether to swap for the practicality of countering a hero versus being able to have those ultimates and seeing if you can find the value. Because there could have been some value with the landmines, and also just the Diva's great as well. You can easily swap into the Reinhardt as the Wrecking Ball. But yeah, it didn't seem like there was much value going on. And unfortunately, Diva not going to be able to eat those blizzards just kind of hindered a lot of things. So going into this, I do think there needs to be some shields. I agree with this. I am kind of a little bit surprised / pleasantly surprised that the Orisa Reinhardt duo is kind of what's been going on here. But it does allow that Reinhardt to go in more aggressively with the rotation of shields with Orisa. Orisa recently having a nerf to how much the damage can be absorbed with shields has been kind of a factor going in, where she is not as prominent as she once was with the double shield meta between them and Sigma. But she is a great hero nonetheless, with halts, superchargers, just being able to kind of also not be pinned as well with her shift. There's so many abilities that can just work out.
100%. And I think as well, the other thing that you have to consider is that this meta relies on your Reinhardt playing very, very aggressively, and then also having the ability to realize I'm low on health, I need to fall back. So the fact that there's an Orisa shield there, if you place that it can protect your supports while your Reinhardt and your DPS go forward, but it also kind of provides that second line of defense as well. Orisa has a great supporting ultimate in that supercharger. Much like the Nano boost, it just amplifies damage so much, but the advantage that it has over Nano is it amplifies everybody on the team. It doesn't just amplify one hero. So that's a great supporting ultimate, especially when you already have a lot of team wiping ultimates like a Blizzard, a Deadeye, a Shatter, all those things that we saw
Meteor Strike,
Louisiana purchase have already. So just by having that supercharger, it can turn those ultimates, which sometimes they need another ultimate to be efficient anyways. It's just a great supporting ultimate, and you can use it with all those different heroes to create some good combinations.
AoE is the name of the game, and here we go. We're in my favorite map, where I like to feel the water between my Rialtos. As we are about to go into the second map, it is 1-up for our friends on the Louisiana purses, but we'll see if our friends Team Silence can do what they can here. Silence looking like, we'll see what they can do here. This is their map pick after all, so usually when you're feeling comfortable in your map, you're a lot more in your element.
Yeah, usually that's how it goes. I think that's one thing that's nice about if you do lose that first map, you don't have to worry too much because you get to choose the next map. You're not hard locked into this is what the next map that's going to be played is. You have a little bit of freedom to pick and choose what's going to work for your team style and what is going to be able to help you get the results. It's worth noting here, however, we have Team Silence now in the blue and the Louisiana purchase are in the red, so we have had a swap of the sides here.
Well, yeah, with the swap of sides, it'll be interesting to see. And how do you feel about this? Having their opponent having Silence choosing their opponents to dictate how far they get to push the payload first. What do you think that gives them?
To be honest, I think it provides you with a lot. I think for a lot of teams, it's a lot easier to have the mentality we can push that far than it is to say, oh, we have to stop them. So if they're able to stop, it doesn't matter where they stop Louisiana Purchase here, it's going to be easy for them to turn around and have the mentality, yes, we can push that far. But Louisiana Purchase, if they don't push it very far, it's very hard to have the mentality, we can defend this.
Yeah, it will be a little bit of a tough cookie if that's the case. But all right, off the bat, Nancy, a nice wall coming in. This is already looking very good for Team Silence if they push on through. Collapse going down. Wall won't do much good either. Skill Orb comes in as well. Scootly Boop will be able to just take out Cyberfish. And I mean, the fact that they took out Quinn that fast, they are looking primed to defend it for a little while and for some time in the time bank.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the differences in the support lineup matchup. Obviously, Scootly Poop will be able to put forth a lot more raw healing, but Paddington on the Lucio is going to provide that little bit of speed boost, could allow for a little bit of faster rotations, and maybe even escaping some really bad situations they get put in by the Mei walls. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup works out, especially if Spectral is hitting those antis and denying Scootly Poop the ability to use that raw healing.
Well, at the moment, it doesn't seem to really matter because Spen is denying life as it is. A nice wall will create a fighting case, but the Coalescence coming in will be a massive one as well. Allows Yummy to be able to back up and keep the team alive, and they will keep holding this. It was a nice attempt coming in from the side of Louisiana, but it's not going to be the case.
Oh, Scootly Poop there. Perfectly timed Coalescence. Sees the opportunity perfectly, but it's interesting to note, look where Quintessence is right now. They're actually hiding in the backline, and I don't think that anybody from Team Silence knows that they're there. So I'll be interested to see if Quintessence can try to sneak around, build up this Deadeye. We could see a Deadeye flank here.
We could potentially see it if they're able to charge. Well, they have it charged. They're going to drop the Deadeye right in the middle. Gets two! Props down. What the heck was that? That was like some Hollywood movie stuff. I mean, honestly, that was impressive, but at the end of the day, it doesn't work out. Does not be able to help the team push through anymore, and they didn't pressure out any ults as well.
I mean, that was pretty exciting from Quintessence, but I think the problem was they kind of dropped into the middle of a group of enemies, so they only had a couple people in front of them. Didn't quite work out the way they intended, but it was cool nonetheless. The issue now for the Louisiana Purchase is the ultimate economy here for Team Silence. They only have to use 1 or 2 ults at a time, and they are still going to be able to keep 2 or 3 in reserve to counter whatever gets thrown out here by the Louisiana Purchase, and a huge shatter coming in from Yum Yum Hungry, and they're going to clean up yet another fight here.
They will lose the main tank, but yeah, let's talk about this real quick. They've also been, it looks like Louisiana's been trying to find openings with the ultimates, but haven't they been holding on to it for quite a little while? Like, Cyberfish has had the Blizzard for a while now.
I think the thing with that last fight is you've evened up the ult economy a little bit more now, so now you're on a more equal footing. If you throw out an ultimate like the Blizzard here, you're going to be more likely to get a result from it.
Well, we'll see what happens with both of these Blizzards coming out. Seems like the Coalescence will keep them stabilized. A nice wall. Oh no, Louisiana Purchase, you got your Rhina basically killed, unfortunately. And this is already going to be all for naught. The Supercharger's not going to be enough to help you out here. And Cyberfish, unfortunately, kind of was the domino effect that started it.
30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and it's getting right down to the wire here. Spen does have a Deadeye. That could provide a lot of zoning here for Team Silence as we see the Louisiana Purchase try to push forward. But again, on the flip side, Quintessence has another of their Deadeyes. The difference maker here is probably going to be this nano boost from Boosted Anna. Setting that onto Yum Yum Hungry could just give that Reinhardt the ability to swing away and wreak havoc on the Louisiana Purchase line.
Well, we'll see what happens. Icewall comes out, but it doesn't find anything. Earthshatter comes in, won't be able to find anybody. Deadeye will come in, see if they can find anything. Spen again! Oh my gosh, the McCree's on the high ground. You just can't ignore them. Does find 2, and this is absolutely devastating on the side of Louisiana Purchase. Yummy will just swing the hammer. It doesn't matter if they anti or not. They will pretty much full hold this, and I can't believe it. Are we on Havana or something?
And this is exactly what we mentioned at the start you had to worry about, Bemi, is getting stopped at such a short distance. They didn't even make it around the first corner here on Rialto. So mentally, that is such a hard thing to bounce back from if you are the Louisiana Purchase. It's so hard to tell yourself that you're able to defend this, because if you lose one fight, you're done.
It'll be tough to come back from it for sure. I mean, there is no denying that. And it's just around the corner as well. So, where do you hedge your bets? What role do you really need to kind of, go above and beyond here, Piper?
Honestly, at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to the tank line here, especially when it comes to those Rhine players. If your Reinhardt gets caught out by a Mei wall, your whole defense is in danger of collapsing. So it's going to come down to Collapse and Crustado here. How are they going to be able to mount that front line, that bastion of defense against the waves of Team Silence?
Well, see, Silence is certainly making some noise here to even up the score. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, at the moment here, Louisiana Purchase will go for their Orisa Rhine combo, which does allow for more shielding, which is good. I think as long as they don't get caught off guard from the high ground, they should be good, because that was kind of one of the things that they kept getting caught off by a little bit.
I think the thing here, though, that's worth noting is how this matchup is going to work out between Quintessence and Jacked Up. Jacked Up, the D.Va is so highly mobile now that Jacked Up can very feasibly fly up, put pressure on Quintessence, and then just fly back down to their team. No questions asked. That's going to make things difficult here for Quintessence to actually get value, especially as it rounds this corner. But that anti-nade from Spectral, my god.
Massive indeed, and I mean, if none of the team is able, Jacked Up will be able to ball Golden Quinn, but that's not going to be enough. It got very close here, but Louisiana Purchase managed to get the first wave held, and they only lost 1 DPS in the process.
Oh,
they get the Stagger D.Va too!
To stagger that baby D.Va like their life depends on it, because it does. That's a great stagger coming out from them. It's going to buy them a little bit more time. They have the Nano, they have the Shatter available. This is looking a little bit more doable, Bemby.
I like the Tracer swap as well coming in from Quinn, understanding that the D.Va's going to bully them. So now they also get some information from the backline, kind of fall back, able to farm that Pulse Bomb as well. Could get some good initial picks in the backline. That is always something that will throw your yams off if you're not careful. If you see that Hulk comes in, doesn't manage to find anything. But now here we go, the Ice Cage fight between the two walls. And, I mean, Crustado goes down. This is pretty massive. Earthshot won't find anything. Coalescence coming in. This is already looking all for naught. It is going to be a valiant attempt, but fortunately, they just don't have enough firepower. And with also the Reinhardt getting caught off within the fight early, means that they will be able to even this up. Silence going 1-for-1 now, able to work on their map.
And that was so close there from the Louisiana Purchase. Spectral hit a huge ante. There just wasn't enough time to follow up, and eventually Team Silence were able to overwhelm Louisiana, and we are going to see this series go to 1-1, like you said.
Well, Piper, any last-minute thoughts tying up the series? How do you get to match point now if you're on either side?
It's close. It's been back and forth. I think the key is going to be, now that we've seen the D.Va coming out from Team Silence, I think that might be the swap that we have to see coming in from Louisiana Purchase, just because of that defense matrix and the mobility that D.Va provides. I think that's just going to put a little bit of a leg up over the Orisa play going forward.
And going into this next map, we do have the counterpick war to account for as well, Piper. So the counterpick war is in favor for the Louisiana Purchase because they did win the first map. We will be going into 2CP now with Hanamura going into this now, and personally very excited to see it because I actually enjoy watching Hanamura matches. They're very intense and very close. And how do you go into this Hanamura as Louisiana? What should we be expecting here? I expect some great Lucio plays coming in from Paddington to rush into that point, but is there anything else we should pay our attention to?
I think the key would be paying attention to how on their attack or their defense they can set up those antis from Spectral, because Spectral has been hitting them consistently. So I think Louisiana Purchase needs to look at ways that they can try to open things up, especially with the D.Va on Team Silence now, because obviously Silence's D.Va is going to be looking to eat those anti-nades if they see the Ana pick coming out. So maybe seeing a swap over to a D.Va to try to put pressure on their D.Va, maybe a little bit of dive going on. I think that could be a key for them here, because Spectral has hit some really big anti-nades, and I think that's what helped them win the first map as well. Kind of went unnoticed, but was still a big part of their play. And so I think going forward, making sure they can consistently set those up and follow up on them is going to be a key.
Hard to ignore that all that purple, Piper. It is truly a color that sticks out like a sore thumb in this game. So yeah, you can't disregard that. It would be nice to see maybe if they might want to try to run the diva just to see if he can eat some of that damage. We've only seen really mainly just the Reinhardt and the Orisa coming into play here. Not much shaking up with the tank lineup. So might be a good idea to shake off the tanks. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's worth it, especially when you consider we've seen pretty consistently from Team Silence them pulling out the Mei. And you talked about this earlier, Bemi. The Mei ultimate is something that is eatable by Diva, and that in and of itself provides such huge value because your Diva can put so much pressure on their Mei and force them to go for much more difficult blizzards because there's not just a wide open, okay, I'm going to press Q now. You actually have to think and strategize when you're going to use that ultimate, and that can lead to mistakes.
It can. You got to be very, very careful. And I think we are having the team set up a little bit, so we'll just take a quick minute to get ready everything. But let's see. Oh, okay, never mind. Looks like they are good to go pretty much. So I will buy even more time, you and me, Piper. How was your day?
It was absolutely fantastic. Bemi, how was yours?
My day was fantastic. I've just been fighting off jet lag after coming back from DreamHack Anaheim, which was a wonderful event. But, also good to sit down and reunite with Elo Hell and see the Get Good series happening once again. Shout out to our wonderful people running behind the scenes crazily, which would be, Nolali, Necra, Paddington as well, doing a lot of the hard work. Radio Skeleton, our production. We have a lot of birds now. I think at this point we are just it's spring, so I guess like the flock migrated, so we have a lot more birds in our production now.
Yeah, it sure does seem that way. We have picked up a few, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but with Diaborb coming back, we got Mulburb. We have, I'm sure, another burb somewhere here. Production. Do we know any other burbs? I'm gonna take that as a no. I think they're very focused on the job.
I think we're tapped out on birds there, Bemi.
Okay, well, I mean, there's a lot more birds. I promise you. There we go. That English is off today. But either way, let's talk about the compositions because we don't have to worry about whether the heroes are committed or not. We do see on the defense side, looking at this for the Team Silence. Looking at this, they got the BAP rolling in here.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice here. I think that you can get a lot of value from it on the defense. You can throw at those immortality fields. The only thing that I would be cautious about is the fact that you might struggle if we see kind of a very crushing offense coming in from the Louisiana purchase. Paddington does have that Lucio, so they are going to be looking to speed through here. And if you misplace or mistime that immortality field, it's going to be completely useless.
Well, let's hope their timing is good. I have faith in Scootly Poop. It's just very interesting to see because they were originally on the Moira. Now Tiny taking over this role. So we'll see how things are going to be shaken up here. Icewall going to come out early, just blocking a little more damage. With this Mei, they do have a lot of ways to shield this, and they need to charge in. Spend going down is actually pretty huge. Spectral Hunter, nice shot right there. If they can find a massive ante, this could guarantee a huge time bank for the attack side. We need to see if Louisiana can find anything more. Spend going down is pretty big. They will be able to hop on over with the Diva over the ice wall to keep the Rhino alive and together. It's a little bit back and forth, but I mean, at the moment, Tiny, I mean, they could stop this right now with Crustado D-Mac. This could be massive. Oh, but Tiny go down. Yeah, that's massive. You're right, Piper. A huge ice wall as well coming in from the Mei, just able to find that slight opening. It's still back and forth, but Quinn going down. Here comes the nano booster. Sherry catches off guard. Oh no! They're about to walk right in with their stride, but Collapse will live up to their name and fall to the ground thanks to the Earth Shatter. And finally, we'll see some kind of hold and some way of the fight going over in favor for someone.
I don't know how, but somehow Collapse managed to beat Yum Yum and get that shatter there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that Collapse is going to be enough there. That was a little scary.
Oh, no.
That was a little scary for a minute for Silence, but they have held strong. What a brawl of a fight that was. We saw the Nano go out on the Collapse, and Collapse was like, yeah, I'm gonna go forward with this nano and shatter, and then all of a sudden Yum got the shatter and just shattered them. It was chaos. And I was a little hesitant there when I saw Jacked Up throw out that Graviton Surge, but it worked out. They were able to clean up the fight, and the ult economy is currently sitting slightly in their favor.
It is, and on top of that, with Collapse dropping that Earth Shatter for no reason, honestly, except for the situation that they, I guess, felt like it was going to reward them. It's going to work out, but not to be the case. Ice Wall comes in, but it's not going to be in time. The positioning is too awkward, and Cristado got out of there like a Bad Knight, just sort of flutters in and flutters out. Not going to be able to find anything. Now, here we go. It's ult economy pretty even right now, Piper.
Yeah, it's looking pretty even. I think the change in play that we need to see from Louisiana Purchase for them to break through here is they have to be baiting with Cristado. They have that ability to fly out if the wall comes out. They need to be doing a better job of baiting out that wall. It cannot be Collapse's job to do that because they are going to get walled off nearly every single time.
That's very true, and they got to be careful. Here comes a Blizzard. Deadeye could come in to save somebody. He does manage to find Squibbly Poop, but I mean, it's not enough just to find the Baptiste. Minecraft will still go all over this place and wreck them to smithereens. Self-destruct sequence comes in, allows Cristado to get back a fresh new mech, and could be what they need. Wrap comes in, can't eat it, and spend all of my days just off the bat. Will just be able to find quite a few tiny drops to Coalescence. 45 seconds remaining. Piper, we just pressed Q so many times. How do we come back from this? It's Louisiana.
I think the only way that you can come back from this is hope that Collapse can hit the fat shatter. That is your saving grace right now. Group up. You got 30 seconds. There's no shield. The Reinhardt shield is gone. Bait out those bubbles from Jacked Up and just hammer down. That is what you need to do right now, Bevy.
Minecraft needs to land a god tier ice wall if they want to avoid it, but I mean, the ice wall's already been dropped, so they have the information. They only got to worry about the bubbles. Waiting for the opening. Can they find it? Paddington goes down. The Sound Barrier's not going to be available. But he managed to get Yummy. Earth Shatter comes in. It's a massive two, but they've been able to drop the lamp. Able to keep them alive. They got to push in. Deadeye comes in for spend, but doesn't able to find anybody. They're going to be able to just demech the mech. And that's going to be it, but nobody's going to be able to touch. And that's going to be a full hold coming in from the side of Team Silence.
That was insanity, Bemmy. So many Qs there at the end. It could have went any which way throughout the course of those 4 minutes of the attack, but at the end, it just came down to Louisiana Purchase just were not able to crack the tough nut that was Team Silence's defense.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just nobody really able to go through that wall of fire to touch. It just, even with Paddington able to drop the Sound Barrier, they weren't able to get through all the slowing downs of a Mei that brings into the play. So here we go. It is going to be an interesting, fight here. Do you go ahead and just kind of here's a question for you, Piper. Do you competitively, while we're in the Swiss right now, do you go ahead and kind of do your best, of course, to play for the draw, but maybe not as much to save stamina when you could potentially still win this map out?
You know what? I think that you do. You play this map and you try to win. I don't think that you try to slow down at all. You just got to keep pushing no matter who you are. If you're playing for the draw, if you're playing for the win, you just got to play it to conclusion, Bemmy, no matter what, because you never know what could happen and you could look back and regret not playing to your fullest on this map right here.
That's very true. I definitely don't want you not to give it your all, but I do also think the stamina game needs to be accounted for. Going into fighting for, what I think is about roughly 4 minutes or close to 4 minutes, can be very tiring as well. So we'll see what happens at the moment, but I think honestly, if you are Louisiana Purchase, you are at every liberty to fight for this draw, but you also got to be careful how much energy you put in, because even then, when you get the draw, it's still 1-1. I suppose maybe that will be a better incentive for you going for the draw, because it still keeps
100%.
the score even.
You want to keep the score even. You don't want to give the advantage to your counterparts, because then you're putting yourself even deeper in the hole, and you're just going to have to claw back even more. So at the end of the day, you might as well play out the 4 minutes and do your absolute best to hang on here. Not surprised to see this defense coming out. We see the Bastion Sim if we can see a good setup here from Luigi and a purchase, this could prove very difficult for Silence, because it's hard to catch up to a mobile Bastion, especially when they have two main tanks with two very good shields blocking the way. All right, and we are just going to have a short pause here while we wait for these two teams to set up. Of course, this Bastion defense,
Yep.
they do have not only do they have the Mercy in support, they also have the Baptiste as well. So that's going to provide them a lot of damage amplification here for
Where
this
are they
Bastion.
setting up? Looks like on the point. It's not the normal high ground for sure. But maybe this is more optimal.
I would have expected them to try and set up on the right high ground and then teleport to backup point, but we'll have to see how this pans out for them.
Well, I mean, already off the bat, Spen goes down quite quickly, and that's huge, so the stun is gone. They are going to commit to this corner, though. That does leave you a little bit exposed, but we'll see what happens here. I mean, the Bastion's still going to be able to mow down, but I mean, Collapse is so close to going down. This could be massive. And actually, this is pretty huge. The Ice Wall will come out, and it doesn't stop the Bastion from denying any damage. And Earthshatter will come in, though. Oh! Massive. It's just a sweep the nation kind of a moment. And there you go. A very subtle way of just winning that match point right there. Very quick and indeed efficient. Team Silence will be able to get a match point.
I don't know if I would call that subtle there, Bemi. The hammer coming down from Yum Yum. I think that hit every single member of Louisiana Purchase as we saw as Team Silence cruise on to taking the series to the 2-1. And of course, we are going to see the classic Moira Orb stealing the play of the game. That is tragic if you are Yum Yum hungry. But that is going to be enough there to secure Hanamura in favor of Team Silence. And it'll be interesting to see what the response is from Louisiana Purchase here going forward now that they are down 2-1 in the series.
Well, next map is King's Row. I mean, this is the good vanilla map that everybody feels pretty comfortable on, so maybe that's what they need going into this. I mean, we did see an interesting kind of like, I guess it's quite literally you can't blame Louisiana for going the way they went, because it was either you win all the fights or you don't, and setting up on point does allow you to get a little more safer positioning, and you can't reset the Bastion as easily as you could. So you want to set up the Bastion in a place that you know you want to commit to. So we'll see what happens in this next map. With King's Row happening, I think, honestly, this is a pretty good idea for the side of Louisiana. It is a safe map for everybody. And, it's also a safe map for those who need a moment to take a quick breather, which is what we're going to do. So we'll be right back. Piper and I will be coming with you with potentially the maybe last map of this series. Don't go anywhere. 0-2 for both teams in the Swiss record, but one team is 2-1 right now for potentially getting their first win in the Swiss, and that is Team Silence. Louisiana backs against the wall here, choosing Kings Row, a nice and smart option, very safe as well, to be able to go up and even up the score and bring it to a potential map 5. Piper, what do they got to do here, man? They have something up their sleeve, obviously, if they're choosing Kings Row.
I think we're just going to see them go back to what was working on Busan. I think that's the approach right now. Bring back out that Ryan Arisa with your McCree and your May. I think those are all very viable here, and you can totally make them work on Kings Row. And I think just bringing that back out, getting back to what was working and what was helping you win, I think that is exactly the approach that you need to take if you are the Louisiana Purchase here. You're starting on the attack right now, it looks like. So just go out there, go with a strong attack, play like it's a control point map. Who cares? Just cap that first point and just keep riding that payload all the way on to third point.
They are starting on attack, so we'll see. I mean, this is going to be interesting. It's a hybrid escort. Did not feel comfortable for Rialto from what I'm noticing. So we'll see what happens here if they can do anything different here. I gotta say I'm a little bit concerned with just the tank lineups for Louisiana, just because we have mainly seen Orisa Reinhardt be the most comfortable duo that they have, and Orisa not very mobile of a character. So to get through that choke in King's Row in the first point A is a little bit tricky.
It will be an obstacle for sure for them, and I'm not sure if the Diva pick is one they want to make right now, but the Diva would provide some mobility as well as that defense matrix ability as well. But we just didn't see them be able to use that to great effect on Hanamura. They really struggled to get through that first point when you would expect Diva's mobility to be a plus. So I think going forward, what we have to see is we have to see them make some sort of adjustment. And I think an adjustment back to what was helping them win, which was that Orisa, could be the key, even if it puts them at a slight disadvantage in terms of mobility and verticality.
I mean, that's very true. I mean, I hear, okay, food for thought. I like to think stupid, but or not stupid, but different. Is there any way to maybe go about the Orisa Hog duo? I mean, those halts were stellar. I really did like the halts coming in from Louisiana, from our friend over on. Gotta actually no, they're not going to be playing. Cristado's on the standby, so okay,
And
hold
maybe
on. One shot to kill is coming in. Okay.
And I think maybe that might be the change. Maybe they're bringing in one shot to have that diva available, or maybe even the Zarya, because we saw Jacked Up playing that Zarya with Yum Yum Hungry. So maybe that is the switch that's being made by Louisiana Purchase here, but we just don't know for certain. I mean, looking at the information that we have available on these teams, it does seem like One Shot No Kill prefers the Zarya, so we might be looking at a Ryan Zarya combination here, which is a classic on Kings Row. You spoke about the pulled pork combination, that Orisa and the Hog. I don't think that would work out because you're probably expecting Team Silence to play a Reinhardt here, and I think the Ryan would be able to get some good blocks in on those halt hook combinations, especially with a Maywall there as well. So I think seeing the Ryan Zarya here from Louisiana Purchase might just be the dimension that they need to bring to this, because we haven't seen it from them yet.
You're probably right. Again, this was just much in the way of throwing ideas against the wall and seeing what sticks. But you're definitely on the right track, I would feel, Piper, with going with maybe the Death Ball Mirror and see what you can do there. I mean, this one of the comps that has withstood the test of time here is the Grab Dragon Strike combo, which is another thing that we could potentially see. If you're running the McCree, you are very likely to also run a Hanzo potentially as well, or just long range CPSs in general. Granted, once a projectile in the air is a hit scam, but I mean, sort of along the same line of thinking. But no more guessing. Get your Pog champs in chat. I want to see as many Pog champs in chat as I can see, because we are about to go see Louisiana backs against the wall. Let's see how it goes here. Get hyped. Get your birds ready. Birds out, folks.
Oh, I am hyped, Bemi. This is going to be exciting. And I have to say, we've seen a lot of Reinhardt tonight, but I don't think anything quite compares to the Rhine versus Rhine that you get on Kings Row. In fact, even though there's Eichenwald, which is in Germany, I honestly think that Kings Row is more of Reinhardt's home than there.
Okay. Let's take a deep breath, Piper, because this is the big one here for this set. So take a deep breath with me. Inhale. And then exhale. And now we have bought enough time to know what is happening on defense. For the most part, we are looking at Team Silence going for the death ball. No big surprise here. Scooly Poop is rocking that BAP, and I mean, honestly, with BAP, you can rock that corner very well.
Oh, I definitely think the BAP has some value, and we saw them get value with it on their defense on Hanamura. Lots of well-timed Immortalities fields. I had mentioned that was my hesitation with picking the Baptiste if we saw the speed coming out. But if we see them play this defense the way we saw them play it on Hanamura, I think they will have a very, very strong case for a good defense.
Well, let's see here. Attack. Quinn is going to try to rock this Widowmaker. See if they can get any information. They are aware that they're hiding back by the Alderworth Hotel. And now you can just move up the movie theater. Just go around the long way, you know. Take your time. Work it out. Make sure not to get caught up by those Maywalls. And they avoid the Maywall very efficient. Pad will get frozen, but they keep alive. Nicely done. Ooh, get Minecraft. They will. Got the kill. Nicely done with the Zarya. A little bit charged up, but good efficiency with the bubble. Now playing this corner, and they're doing the tango right now, Piper. They are pushing in nice and aggressive. They do have to address the lamp, but they will do very quickly. Nicely done. Fire Strike comes in. Look at the ult economy, though. Jacked Up does have potentially Earth Shatter ready to go. It's about 6% away. If they can maybe find the opening, the first tick will be able to go up. Earth Shatter goes in, but it gets blocked by not the enemy May, but the ally May, and there's the Earth Shatter coming in from the other side. Collapse, being able to bring down the opponents, and there's a quick Coalescence coming in. All they're left is Minecraft, and they will win this point with a lot of time, the time bank, Piper.
And those are the Rhine mind games that we were talking about, Bemi. The shatter blocked, and then the return shatter hitting home there from Collapse. That is exactly what you need to see from your Reinhardt on Kings Row. Going forward now, the ult economy is looking very, very strong. Initially, for Team Silence, they have the Deadeye. They are also going to have that amplification matrix, and as well, they are going to have their Coalescence in support. But it is not all doom and gloom here for Team Louisiana Purchase. They are going to have... It looks like they are going to have this grab Blizzard combo, and they're going to need to use it fast here to shut down these ultimates that are available to Team Silence.
Maywall goes down, so they do know that the Snow Globe is ready for takeoff, and there it is. There it is, the Blizzard coming out. Like you said, Piper coming in one by one. Jacked Up be able to find Quinn, but that may not be enough. Oh, however, this Coalescence keeping them alive. Oh my gosh, Tiny making a huge play here. Cyberfish will be able to get jacked up. They do have to disengage slowly, but the fight is not all for naught. Ben does have a Deadeye with the grab. Could be massive unless Minecraft's able to get this Blizzard ready to go, and they will have it ready. It could be just the reverse psychology. They are regrouping, though. This is very smart from the side of Silence. They are going to try to see what they can find here and get this opening going, but Spectral... Oh, the Shatter! They denied the Blizzard as well. Here comes the Deadeye, but... doesn't seem to find anything. A nice welcome here from both sides. Won't be able to find anything. There is also the grab coming out. Nicely done for one shot to kill. Coalescence comes in, pushes even more, denying that Blizzard. The window won't even do anything. There's a grab coming out, but you have so much healing and damage. But here we go. Here it is. The Coalescence allows them to buy time, and all cues were for naught, but they do manage to hold on to it. Silence barely getting one by their team.
That was absolute chaos, and unfortunately, Team Louisiana, they had the chance there to win that fight off that shatter from Collapse, but they weren't able to follow it up quick enough. The grab comes in from Monk Penguin, and that just opens up the counterplay coming in from Team Silence. Great stuff coming in from them. Some great timed Coalescence from Tiny as well. First, sustaining them to allow them to get that regroup in, and then at the end there to clean things up. We'll have to see more from Tiny with those Coalescences.
Silence, I'm at a loss for words. Let's see what you can do here. Earth Shatter, nice block coming in from Collapse. Does deny that, but they do need to find something and stay alive, but not to be the case. Quinn won't be able to find anything with this Deadeye, potentially. They do get a little bit of a shot. They actually managed to find Minecraft. But, I mean, again, it's all for naught. Beautiful bubbles coming in from beautiful bubbles coming in to keep Jacked Up alive. And, I mean, again, another hold from Silence will come into play.
I mean, that's not a huge loss if you're Louisiana Purchase. You didn't really have a lot going into that fight. This is going to be the fight that is important right here. It's going to be how fast can you win this fight, how many ultimates can you get out, and how many are you going to have to use. The ult economy is looking very, very similar for both these teams. Each of them have some major team wiping ultimates. Whoever uses their ultimates here to greater effect, and it's probably going to come down to the difference between these blizzards and these grabs. We obviously see the grab getting close for Monk Penguin and Cyberfish with that blizzard. Those are going to be just two differences here.
Let alone from that, they are aware, though. They are coming through the back. They dropped the wall. Looks like they're going to be ready to go here. It's going to be another Ice Cage fight coming in, but a nice lamp will keep them alive, but may not be enough. Another shadow comes in. It's a nice dead. I know. Wait, Ben was far away enough. Does manage to get collapsed. The coalescence does keep everybody alive. Not able to follow up, and now we're again at the standstill. It looks like target prioritization is the name of the game. A nice flash coming in from Sven will allow Minecraft to follow up. And look at this. Another hold, another minute down here, Piper.
Oh, it is absolutely vital that Louisiana Purchase get something out of this next fight. Both these teams are coming into this with or coming up upon their Grav Blizzard combination. The difference here is Paddington has this sound barrier. If we can see a well-timed sound barrier from Paddington, that could provide enough sustain, enough health to this Louisiana Purchase side to allow them to push through and take the second point.
We'll see if they can find anything with it, though. They are going to use this sound barrier to kind of push in aggressively, but they won't have the sound barrier or the AoE healing for the Blizzard, the Grab, the Coalescence if they want to go through this. The Blizzard's going to come out from both sides. Deadeye comes in from Quinn. The Wise Ball needs to drop right now if they want to find anything. Looks like they're not going to be able to find anything at all, and Spenmax is going to get one shot to kill. And they're already in this awkward position. Quinn will try to come save the day with the flashbang. Will go down, though, and 30 seconds remaining. And the ult advantage is still in favor for the side of Silence.
They just have not been able to crack through these ultimates that are available to Silence. And all that it's going to take now is Monk popping a grab here, shutting them down. It's going to come down one shot, one no kill. Has to eat this grab if they're going to have any hope here. Paddington needs to get forward, try to touch the point. That is their only hope right now.
Well, the wall ride's going to come in here, but the Deadeye coming in from Sven. We'll see if they can find anything. Won't find anything, though. They do manage to help out and take out Collapse, and this is already not looking good. Paddington able to get and touch their OT, but this is already looking like the hold is going to happen, and this is as far as Louisiana goes. Though, respect to Louisiana, this is a decent amount to get through the street space, and technically, if you're at this elbow, I mean, spawn's not too far away here, Piper.
No, this is not a bad spot to be in at all.
Very true indeed, Piper. So, alright, Louisiana, what do they need to double up on? Because clearly they are efficient and they are well-oiled machines, but there's something that they need to it's just that little pièce de résistance that they need to just get it over to match point.
I think it's just their follow-up on ultimates, to be frank with you, Bemi. We saw some big shatters coming in from Collapse, and there was just moments where it was close. You could see the pieces coming together, and then they missed out on one or two important kills that allowed Silence to get back in these fights. So going forward, if they want to be able to defend this, which I totally think they can, they just need to follow up on those ultimates a little bit better, especially the shatters and the blizzards, things where people are being immobilized, but not necessarily immediately taken out by them.
Yeah, it is definitely something that we need to see come to fruition. There is some moments, though, I will give to Louisiana where, you know, they drop it right away, but almost immediately there's a response from Spen hanging out in the back line, or just like this, just the cleanest of headshots, just tapping heads away. And that sometimes it's hard to deal with, and it's really not easy to address. But here we go. They are on defense, and we're seeing Cyberfish rocking the Pharaoh. This is a very different DPS duo than we were used to seeing with the side of Louisiana.
Oh, it is definitely going to provide something different here. I don't think that we are going to see Silence be ready for this. Spen is going to have the counter. Minecraft as well with that May right click is going to provide a little bit of a counter as well. But Cyberfish with Paddington in support, they are going to have a lot of free reign to rain down death from above.
See if they can find anything here, though. It is a big question where they can follow up. TNT already off the bat, able to get Schoolly Koopas. A massive pick right off the bat. You gotta be careful of this May, though, because Minecraft is still rocketing it. And, oh, Collapse goes down. That's the main tank gone, but Pad, nice bubble coming in for one shot to kill, to keep them alive, to be able to keep the momentum going. But Pad going down. Cyberfish now no longer has that pharmacy rocket, but if they play in the back corner, they should be okay. And it looks like the fight overall is still going in favor for Louisiana.
That was an absolutely massive res coming in from Paddington. Great bubble by one shot, no kill. And great res coming in from Paddington, being able to find the positioning there. Getting Collapse back up for this fight was absolutely massive. I think it's worth noting, look at Cyberfish's barrage counter already almost there. If they can get a nice big barrage here, that could shut down a push immediately here from Silence. So far, it looks like this pharmacy is working out for Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah, and it looks great. And on top of that, we'll see if they're able to play the back corner. Now the real test comes in. You got some hit scans going on. Spend rocking at 76. Gonna see if they can focus on it. A nice wall already off the bat gets collapsed, and the coalescence is coming in. I don't know if you can find a barrage that would be able to find everything all together. You kind of need to go into this backline, but when you're getting focused, it's kind of hard to do. But here comes Bob. That's the first one to address, but a nice little pin will keep them from a bay of doing any results here. And one shot, no kill goes down. Spen's able to just shoot everyone one by one, and they will have to fall back, Louisiana.
And this was something that I was worried about from Louisiana Purchase. It was the fact that they were going to have a very tough time sustaining that fight on the point because of the fact Paddington...
Well, we'll see.
Something we've seen yet so far, and I think the value that they're going to get out of it here is that they're going to be able to put a lot of pressure on Jacked Up's shields, which is going to force Monk Penguin to play much more passive, kind of babysitting that Reinhardt to be able to mitigate some of that damage against the shields. So great opportunity here from Cyberfish to be able to open up Jacked Up shields and make some plays happen for Louisiana Purchase here.
Window comes out. We'll see it comes in. The grab will come out, but the ice wall will be able to block it. Nicely done. Oh, man. We'll see if Louisiana could just hold it a little bit longer. I mean, with the Junkrat now on Cyberfish, this is a lot of damage that could be just produced here to break the shield. Self-destruct sequence coming in, though.
Oh,
they need to shield this. No way! Monk and Penguin! Oh, my gosh! They're able to get the 4, and this should be the final nail in the coffin. They needed to shield that. Oh, no.
Oh, my lord, that was an absolutely perfect, pixel-perfect bomb coming in from Monk Penguin, landing perfectly at the corner there, and there was nowhere to run. It didn't matter what side of that corner you were on. You were dead, Bemi, and that is going to secure things here for Team Silence.
Oh, man. Just happens sometimes, you extend far out, you think you're keeping the back line safe, or and the drop of the lamp as well was dropped right after that. So good eye from Monk Penguin. But yeah, that is going to be Team Silence's first win, finally getting into 1-2 territory. 0-3 for Louisiana. They did a great job, but again, they're not out of it quite yet.
No, it is definitely a long season. It is not over yet for any of these teams going forward in GGNA, but a great game coming out from both of these teams here, Bemi. That was some pretty intense Overwatch all throughout this series.
Well, if you thought that was intense, Piper, what if I told you we have more Overwatch coming up?
I would be absolutely ecstatic, and you know what, Bemi? As far as I know, that is the truth. We have more.
Yes, indeed. We'll have the advanced matches coming in with Pandemic versus Okra Kings, and we'll see Orca, not Okra, although that's very delicious. And we'll see who is able to come out on top. This is going to be a very interesting series to come up, and we'll see how this goes for them. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more GGNA Overwatch action.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Kill, 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 kill!
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help, I need help.
I'm with you, I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game. So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? ELO Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Kill! Let's go! Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the ELO Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game. So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need top.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Welcome back to the second series of the day. It's Pandemic versus the Orca Kings. It is another O2 series, and finally somebody's going to be on that fancy board with a number that shows them that they've won. It is going to be the Advanced Division. GDNA is joined with me is Piper and Bird. How are you guys?
I am doing absolutely fantastic there, Bemmy. I don't know if Bird is going to be able to say anything.
Bird's okay. No, they said they responded.
They said they're doing good.
Yeah. Hey, my name's Bird. I'm doing pretty good. Yay. So,
And I think I can speak for the both of us here when I can say we are absolutely ready for this Overwatch coming up, Bemmy.
Yes, you can. I will give you permission to speak up for this. Why don't we talk about the rosters? Because we actually do have information about both sides, and we're also ready to go on these things. So it's going to be very interesting. We're starting off on Busan once again with Feeling. Piper,
It's going to be interesting what we see from both these teams here on Busan. I would imagine that at this level in the advanced this division, we're probably going to see these teams trying to mimic or play off of what we've kind of seen from some of these Overwatch League teams over these past couple weekends. So I'd expect to probably see some Ryan Diva coming out, a lot of McCree May, things along those lines. Probably might not get too much more creative than that, especially on Busan, where you can kind of play the same one or two comps for all three of the points and kind of get away with it.
Here's like a big question mark / scratching my head about this situation is Caesar is from Orca Kings is a Doomfist main, as we can see from the spreadsheet. So this is really interesting to me that they chose to do it, or they chose this guy or person on the rocking this. Like I'm very interested to see how they do well against a McCree and a May, if we expect that. Or are we expecting something completely crazy? I don't know. Elos really don't dictate a lot of things what people play with comps, obviously. So what should we be expecting?
I mean, you never know. It could get crazy, but I think even looking at the player, like you mentioned, even if they main Doomfist, that might not necessarily mean that that's all that they're competent with. They most definitely could be competent with many different heroes, such as the McCree, such as a May. They could be more common with Soldier, Pharah, all sorts of different things. So we could see a variety of compositions. It's just going to come down to what these players feel is most comfortable for them.
Well, we are starting once again on Mecha Base. I am feeling a little bit of deja vu. We'll wait and see what happens. I mean, Orca does have like 9 players, which is the max you can have in this series. And this is, sometimes when you have 9 players, sometimes all you need is specialists. I mean, that's kind of like what the Philadelphia Fusion route went. They have Chipsa because they are the local Doomfist.
Oh, exactly. And I think we talked about this too, the stamina aspect that comes into this. These series can go 4 or 5 maps. That's a really long time. You can start to get fatigued mentally and physically. So having depth in your roster, having those 3 extra subs, allowing you to rotate players out throughout this series can honestly be a difference maker, especially if all of your subs are able to reach that same level on the same heroes, or they might even add a different flavor to your team and make things a little bit more difficult for the other team to determine what you're going to be playing.
Certainly provides the spice of life, which is variety, my friend Piper. And we're going to go see the Doomfist, but it's not on Caesar, it's on Arid Ocean, which I believe is actually the one that is the Doomfist designated. Pardon my absolute ignorance, but we'll see how this works out for them. They are going into this, not quite, almost going down. It is again the name of the game to bring on the main tank, and they will finally be able to do it. A beautiful anti-nade coming in from Saber will allow this point to go for Pandemic.
Yeah, Pandemic doing a great job there opening things up. They got forward. They were able to use I'm Better with that May to get some big freezes.
No, touch the point, guys. Come on.
As well as a good anti coming in from Saber as well allowed them to clean things up here. I think what we are seeing Orca go for here is I think they're trying to look for some key hacks onto players such as the Reinhardt in Not Quite and DPS Lucio main who's on the Zarya, believe it or not. I think they're trying to go for some key hacks, allowing Arid Ocean to get those picks with that rocket punch.
Well, let's see if they can find any openings. Even just uppercutting people and just throwing off the front line, the back line was pretty huge in and of itself. They will do a lot of damage, but the Earth Shadow will be reckoning if they can find anything else, and TKO will be able to find not quite. And, I mean, that the mate tank's gone. Once again, I do kind of dictate that as the story of the fight being won here. A little overshot with the self-destruct sequence, but a new mech full of health is also pretty good as well. Arid Ocean does find Kringling, though, and they actually will be able to find DPS. Meteor Strike comes in. They will be able to find it. The stun comes on to TKO, and they will be actually able to flip this point over. But a modest close to 50% for our friends over at Pandemic.
And Pandemic also has quite a few ultimates available to them. They are going to have a beat available here, but the only thing is Kringling is going to have to watch out for the EMP that Scissored has available. That could completely cancel out this beat, and that is what is going to need to be looked out for going into this fight, is where does this EMP get used for Orca?
See what happens. It looks like it right now with the Deadeye potentially coming out, but I mean, Sire already got denied that. Arid Ocean is coming to slamming and get rid of everybody. It is a lot more impressive to look on Doomfist when nobody can use their abilities.
That was a good play coming in from Orca. They did a great job following up on that EMP. Now, though, things are looking a little bit better for Pandemic to get back into things. They're going to have their Nano. They're going to have the beat available. We saw that Nano last time help TKO get to that Shatter and slam down. So if Saber can use this Nano and find some antis like they have been, that could be absolutely huge for Pandemic.
Could be massive. I mean, Sire already does get Arid Ocean. This is what we were expecting earlier to happen. Blizzard comes out, allows them to push more aggressively into the point. A nice Fire Strike actually coming in from TKO. And a pin as well. The Nano Boost makes everything look so much sweeter, and they will be just showing up on the kill feed one after another. And there we go. Finally, a nice flip back over with some modest ults in the bank.
And this is where the mind games of both these Reinhardts are going to come in. TKO and Not Quite both having the Shatter available. I'm sure both these Reinhardts know that that is going to be available to their opposition. So the mind games are going to be, again, you know, baiting out those shields, trying to get that slam down, and that is what we are going to be looking at going into this next fight. How these two Reinhardts play around each other, especially in these choke points. Is Scissor going to be able to get off a cheeky hack and open things up for TKO? There's so much that could happen here.
Yeah, also Sizer could just easily get the EMP right away. If they land a few good hats, it could be very early on. Earthshatter will come in, but does not find anything. But it will be able to find on the other side. But a good sound barrier staying in the backline. Pandemic will still stay alive. Sire is on a good position to potentially drop the Deadeye if they want to find something. Looks like they won't be able to, though. It's not going to be quite much like the last series. They will be addressed and put in their place right away. And while they did get to 99%, still looks good for Pandemic. They do have a couple of ults up their sleeve.
And this is an awkward position now. If you are Pandemic, you only have this bomb available. You're going to have to try to do something here to land that and get a few kills because of the EMP, the grab, and the beat that are available here. This is going to be very difficult, especially if Sizer pops this EMP.
Nice! Gets 5 of the 6, and that's easily what you want to see. Holds on to ultimates, gives you a lot of charge. Self-destruct sequence will come out. Don't think it'll find anybody, though. Nope, they'll just find a really charged up Zarya. And look at this, so clean. It is the final team fight as they can't really do much anyway, and they will drop a celebratorial grab and put their first mark on the board. Nicely done from Orca Kings. They will be reigning supreme starting off.
Yeah, that was a very back and forth point here. We saw both teams, well, we saw Pandemic getting it to 99 and then eventually Orca closing it out. I think we have the makings of a close series here. We knew coming into this, both these teams were 0-2. We knew they were both 0-2, so we knew this was going to be tight. And I think that first map showed just how tight this series could be.
So, well, I mean, this was also really good to see Sizer. I see a lot of Sombras kind of wait for way too long, and then they make it almost feel like a 5v6 against your opponent. So, Sizer really utilizing the hacks and staying with the team and making sure that, you know, Arid Ocean was able to get the value off the Doomfist a lot of the times. They really utilized that Doomfist in great ways of just doing so much damage, and I'm excited to see how they handle downtown as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear, especially as we kind of see there's a little bit it's kind of a similar map design, but I think there's a little bit more opportunity for some good May walls on the point itself here, so that could be an advantage.
my God.
What a sleep that was!
Yeah, dude, that was massive. But the ping comes in as well. I mean, Sizer, yeah, sleeping on the job, and unfortunately, when you sleep on the job, the rest of your friends are gonna go down with them.
Well, that's exactly what happened there, and I think this is the key here for Pandemic. They have to find ways to shut down this DPS duo of Scizard and Arid on the Doomfist and the Sombra. If they can manage to shut that down, I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. So that's going to come down to Weatherman needs to be spy checking. Saber has to be ready with those sleeps, not just on the Sombra, but on the Doomfist as well. And Sire being ready to hit those cheeky flashbangs. That is what is required here.
It's early in the fight, and Arid does able to get him on better. So that is already something to start off that right. Get the DMAC, and I mean, they're slowly pushing out over, dropping into the high ground, just kind of getting the edge up. Sire does have the Deadeye, and could potentially be able to find something good here. Earth Shatter comes in, could be a great follow-up, does get the two, nicely done. A great follow-up coming in from Sire, and they will be able to win the fight and flip it back over with just a couple of ults. Beautifully done.
That is some great ultimate usage to secure a fight that honestly looked like it was going against you. They dropped 2 members early, but they're able to claw that back off some really, really great ultimate usage. The ult economy here is strong for Orca to get back into it, but it's not over yet for Pandemic. What they need to do here is they need to hit a good Blizzard, and they need to find a way to get Weatherman a big bomb here.
Well, I mean, let's see what they can find here. Earthshatter comes in, will not be able to find a self-destruct thing at the same time, but there's the Blizzard coming in, but already the follow-up has happened with this Earthshatter. It's been massive. A good coalescence will keep the fight going in favor for Pandemic, or excuse me, Orca Kings, and they will keep flipping back this point. And we saw this happen last at Mecha Base, where they managed to complete it and take this win.
Yeah, and you know what? They have a good ult economy in their pocket here, Orca Kings. They have the grab, they have the EMP,
Sizer.
and they have the beat to sustain as well. And this is such good scouting coming in from Sizard on this Sombra. Knows exactly where they're going to go here and can set up this EMP perfectly.
Waiting, and they, yeah, like you said, information. Self-destruct sequence will come in. There is no real way of shielding, but they managed to get out of the way just in time. EMP will come out. Now it's a 6-person EMP. It will go down, though, but Arid able to do the work that is needing to be part of their job. A nice little thing will keep them alive. Narwhale will be gnarly healing and also be able to just hunt down this Ana, and overall, beautiful EMP. Nice cleanup, allows a lot of ult charts to come to fruition, and they can play catch-up now here on the Orca Kings.
And I think that's the thing with that EMP from Sizard is that Arid can just go ham. They don't have to worry about any counter CC abilities.
Correct.
Because they're completely locked away. So it just allows such an efficient cleanup. It got a little bit shaky there, but great job from Madoka dropping that beat to prevent it from getting worse than it could have.
Yeah, it was so beautiful and well done. Here comes the Deadeye. Oh, the grab didn't even though. Holy smoke, Sire tried to drop the Deadeye, doesn't even find anything. Gets punched out of the way though. Grab doesn't matter, but I think it, honestly with this sound barrier might have not been necessary, but either way will at least secure them, be able to flip over this point and win the fight. New Strike will come in, but it will be all for naught. They are just kind of building up all percentage lead here as much as they can until they can flip it back over, and they will be able to finally do that after getting this Lucio out the way.
And we're kind of getting into the dog days of this point now. I think whoever is going to win this next fight is going to take this point here. And I think the big combo we have to watch out for is I'm better with this Blizzard and the possibility of setting that up with a bomb. If we can see a big Blizzard coming in, it doesn't look like that's what we're going to see at all.
No, they tried to get cheeky with it just because that the Reinhardt was too far up. Not quite. We'll still go down either way, and they can't even touch. Oh, the Blizzard was massive right there, and we will be going to Sanctuary.
Yeah, the zoning from that Blizzard just split up the members of Orca Kings that they had to go around the long way, and they were just body blocked enough that they were not able to make it. And we are going to see the final point Sanctuary here of Busan, and I'd imagine we're going to see pretty much more of the same from both these teams.
Do you think that Doomfist can get away with some stuff? It's a pretty wide open map, Piper.
I think that Arid has been fantastic on this Doomfist so far. I think the
Undoubtedly.
one place that Pandemic has the advantage right now is Saber on that Ana. The extra CC in that sleep, as well as the anti-nade, is such a huge combination coming in, especially when those anti-nades hit. Narwhal is pretty much useless on those heals. That's why you pick the Moira, because they have that huge ability to just output huge raw amounts of healing, especially with their ultimate, but with one good anti, you can take all of that away.
Well, let's see. I mean, the antis aren't going to come in anytime soon. Arid Ocean does put words in my mouth and actually uses quite an efficient push on this, able to find one, does get taken out by Weatherman, though. And, I mean, at the moment, it still feels like they're doing quite the work. Sizer just hacking away. The ice wall is just not going to work out for I'm Better, and already the point going over to Orca Kings. A good momentum shift. Taking out that Ana early was key.
Oh, it was a huge pick. Arid Ocean going in hard with that rocket punch, and taking Saber out of the equation takes away the main source of healing for Pandemic, so they're not going to be able to bounce back from that. However, ult economy here, the big thing is here going to be Narwhal getting up. Oh! That's a shocking early pick that happened.
Yeah, really early. Don't know how they're going to be able to cooperate with this one. They really need to make sure they get the shot calling done. Maybe demech the D.Va as quick as they can. An Ice Wall. Oh, DPS Lucio, man, it's going to be able to get away with this just barely. Though Earth Shatter comes into play. Doesn't really find anything, though. But still, all the same, a very strong push nonetheless from the team. The DPSs will be showing up. Sire denying and countering that Doomfist, and also just able to shoot down that Reinhardt beautifully done. Will be able to finally flip over the point. Looking pretty good right now, ult economy wise too.
And I think the key there was the fact that Not Quite fell early. Losing your main tank, especially when you're playing this Deathball meta, is such a huge loss. Going forward, though, I think the key here, again, when we're talking about these main tanks as the centerpiece, is Saber has that nano, likely going to be saving it here for TKO, and putting that onto TKO can provide such an advantage, but
EMP comes out, does manage to at least get the 5, so the sound barrier doesn't come in any blink of time. They will use the nano boost, though, to see what they can find. I mean, the Earth Shatter won't find much result. They go for the pin. Looks good. Self-destruct sequence actually will be able to help follow up with Get Not Quite. It's actually pretty huge. However, let's see if the Deadeye can also help follow up with this as well. Let's help get rid of Madoka. And there it is. I mean, this looks like the point will be able to still be kept. A very scrappy fight, but Pandemic still pulls out here.
This is just chaos right now. Both these teams are exchanging blows back and forth.
Oh
but
my god!
Wants to stay in this fight.
Coalescence comes out from Narwhal, but doesn't able to find the ball. Better! Are you kidding me? I love seeing icicles coming in from May. It is just an amazing hand-eye coordination needed to be able to perfect those. And again, they'll keep up this momentum. Too much commitment to this fight, I would say.
I think, honestly, Orca Kings needed to know when the fight was lost there, and they might have put themselves at a disadvantage. However, they are going to have the grab and the EMP available. We've seen Scizor use that EMP to such great effect already. That is going to be the win condition for them here as they try to cap. There's only one more fight left, so it has to be now, if ever.
Well, EMP comes out, but they go down right away. They're only able to find 4 of the 6. The Shatter is going to come out, though, and they'll be able to wipe it out. Does not matter if the EMP comes out or not. Missing that Reinhardt was massive, and there we go. A victory pose nonetheless, and Pandemic will be able to still close it out. And, I mean, that was quite the back and forth, but, oh my gosh, that was a lot of commitment coming in from Orca Kings.
And we talked about how important that EMP was going to be there at the end, and TKO not caught in that EMP and able to hammer down. We'll see it here. 5 members of the Orca Kings, and they just cleaned it up. At that point, that was the fight 1 and the point 1, securing them map number 1.
Yeah, it was super strong, and I mean, looking into this now, you do now have the counter pick win in favor for you in Pandemic. Though I will say, being that close of a series, as long as like there was a little less overcommitment from Orca Kings, I think that easily could have gone in their favor. And now that we're about to go into their map, which is going to be Dorado, which is going to be a lot of fun, I'm excited to see how they take advantage of the high ground.
Oh, I think the high ground of Dorado will be huge, especially if Arid Ocean sticks on that Doomfist, which we talked about earlier before map number 1, and we saw it in map number 1, is what Arid Ocean has said, this is my favorite hero, and this is what I'm going to play. I think on Dorado, we could see some really cheeky rollouts, some, cheeky positionings, There's plenty of roofs that you can punch over, slam over. So we'll have to watch out and see what Arid Ocean does if they do stick on this Doomfist and try and use that as a way to open things up here for Orca Kings to get back into this series.
Well, they're certainly not swapping, so it'll be interesting to see what they do here on attack starting off. I would be interested to see if maybe they swap over to a different projectile DPS. It would be maybe the Junkrat. I don't know. It really does. A lot of the times the DPSs are complemented more for what your opponent's tank lines have been. And right now we've been seeing just like the very standardized death ball with either D.Va Reinhardt or Reinhardt Zarya. And I mean, that's kind of like the big thing is how do you address that Reinhardt very quickly? We've seen from both teams, mainly been the Mei, but also with the McCree, like you said earlier in the last series, the flashbang is very crucial. So, I mean, it's interesting to see how Orca Kings prioritize trying to take on these Reinhardts in a different way. They really try to go for the backline and try to go for these early hacks. And, more than not, Sizerd has been able to find these hacks, but they get traded out so quickly that you leave your opponent. It's a bit of a gamble to make it into a 5v5 because more than not, we do see Sizerd go out very quickly into the fight.
And I think part of that too is that with this death ball composition, it's very difficult to get off that perfect hack onto a Reinhardt. And even there was a couple times where I saw TKO being quick enough to flick that shield around, has a good enough reaction time that they can flick their shield and counter out a hack. And that makes it very difficult if you are playing that Sombra. I will say credit where credit's due, though. Sizerd has done a great job farming that EMP, getting those EMPs. I think the question that you have to ask yourself, though, is it if you are Sizerd, is are you getting enough value only getting those EMPs every other fight? You really need a hero that can be effective 100% of the time. And I just don't know if Sombra is providing enough of that value, even though they are making that hero work very, very well.
Yeah, they do get between 4 to 6, and this is a very efficient number. But like we saw in that last series, I mean, that EMP didn't get TKO, and TKO was able to pull off the shatter of a lifetime to be able to secure that win for their team. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think this counter pick will be too much to read off of, except for what in Dorado. What are elements in Dorado do you think Orca Kings will take advantage of?
I mean, obviously, I think the most obvious one is going to be the high ground. I think that's really what we could expect both these teams to build themselves around. You really got to consider that high ground. And at the very least, you need a hero who can chase heroes that take advantage of that high ground. So seeing a D.Va in the tank line from Pandemic or Orca Kings could be huge here. Being able to chase down if the other team brings out a Widow or somebody else with the mobility to get up to those high grounds, that is going to be a very important piece of it, being able to counter out anybody that is abusing those high ground positions.
Well, okay, Orca Kings will have to contest the high ground a lot more because they are on attack and they will have to challenge that. How do you challenge it with the Doomfist and the Sombra? Like, that seems really tough.
I don't think it's that as difficult as you make it out to seem. There's plenty of back routes to get to the high grounds in Dorado. They're just not often used by players. I can think of pretty much every single high ground has at least one or two back routes. So all that it'll take if they want to, be able to exploit those high grounds is just some creative rollouts on the side of Arid Ocean and the tank line. And Sizerd just taking the time to get in position. And I think that's the key here. If they do choose to run that Sombra Doomfist, is taking the time to set up the engages.
Well, you certainly don't have too much time to set up if you're dealing with a very aggressive team like Pandemic. So I hope you make the best use of your time, Orcas. This is going to be a very important test to see how you go. Pretty much the same story that we're seeing here. Anything we should be expecting differently? Are we going to see a little more hold at choke here, maybe, because you want to take advantage of the ice walls? Oh, is this Igloo?
I think we are going to see the Igloo here. Well, maybe not. They're not quite in the room. I think we're just going to see a very aggressive hold coming in from Pandemic. And why not? This first little choke point area is perfect for some really aggressive Mei walling. I think this is a good move for Pandemic, and we'll have to see if it pans out.
See if it pans out for Pandemic. I like it a lot. Well, I mean, Arielka Bad once again is able to find Saber, a nice little punch, and Sizerd just hanging out on the high ground, just, free for pickings on the hacks, and already off the bat, this is what we wanted to see, is a nice, clean, fast execution. And, well, I mean, Pandemic was certainly punished for that aggressive hold.
And I think one thing that we have to see moving forward from Pandemic is Saber needs to play a little bit more passive, especially because you know Arid Ocean is coming on that Doomfist. So they need to find a balance of not playing so far back that they're going to get hacked out and isolated by Sizard, but not playing so forward that they're at risk of those rocket punches hitting them.
Well, they gotta be careful about them. Well, Meteor Strike is about 50% away, so not worried about that yet. Nano Boost will come in. They really want to get this early damage going as soon as possible. Maybe get that wind race of getting the Earth Shatter, which they do already. However, they do have a little bit of back and forth, but it seems like TKO getting bullied here, still having their main tank with them is quite alright. They do at least have the Diva fully mech'd, and keeping that Diva alive has been super necessary for the side of Orca Kings, and they will be able to get the first point with 5 minutes. That is what you want to see.
And Sizard had so many big hacks there, Bemi. It really was a huge difference maker. It seemed every time that hack came off of cooldown, they were finding another target. They have this EMP available already, and I expect to see them use it here, just flat out shut down this first defense here from Pandemic. Don't even give them a chance to get back in this fight.
And look at this ult economy too. Like you said, Piper, this is the dream if you're an Orca fan. This is, I mean, and I'm a fan of whales. This is going to be great for them. Anti though, pretty nice. Deadeye comes in from Sire. We'll be able to get Arid Ocean, so no time for that Meteor Strike to bother the backline. So we'll see. This might be where they stop doing a nice shatter as well. EMP comes out from the other side, but the follow-up and damage has already been done by the Pandemic team. They will drop the Blizzard to commit a little bit more, and it's a lot of ults to commit to, but they do win the fight out.
Yeah, I mean, great. I think the thing there, Orca Kings were a little too hesitant to use that EMP. They couldn't quite set it up. The thing is, though, lots of ultimates available here for Orca Kings. They just need to get into this fight and use these ultimates, no hesitation. Use them and win this fight so they can get this payload rolling again.
Yeah, they're really in a great position right now, especially with Time Bank as well. The goal of Pandemic is just to burn as much time off the Time Bank as they can. They're not really worried about anything. Nice anti coming in from Saber. Self-destruct sequence coming. A stun as well. Gets the 3K. Beautifully done, Sire. The missing link to the puzzle is going to be able to help them get the 3K and secure it. And with the ult disadvantage, this is amazing time being burned off right now.
And you know what? That is huge. That is something that you need to do if you want to win games. You need to, when your back is up against the wall, make these plays happen. But Orca Kings, once again, just get back in there and do not screw this up this time. You have to win this with your ult advantage, or you're going to give Pandemic the chance to get back in this series.
You gotta be very, very careful. Nano Boost comes out. They do manage to get TKO. Beautiful hack, but the antis are pretty good right now in the sound barrier responding in kind. Does allow them to be a little more aggressive, even though they are at a player disadvantage. Pushing in through, Madoka is kind of just helping in the backline. The Baby Diva will not be taken out by Sire. Nicely done, and they'll keep on going. Blizzard comes out though. They've already been kind of spread apart, and they may be able to turn the tide here. We did see the kill feed going all red, but it could easily go all blue right now. Nano Boost onto TKO. They do get hacked, so now they just gotta commit to the mouse one. Doomfist, Arid Ocean, trying to commit to it. They gotta commit to some ultimates. Oh, it's super high. It's not gonna be able to find anything, but that was really close, Viper. But there's the MP. Does get the 6 Nicely done. No shields are gonna come out. It doesn't only get Sire though. Everybody able to move out of the way just in the nick of time. Weatherman does get demech though. However, is that so much is going around here. The B as well, like you said, does allow Arid Ocean to commit, and we do see the Doomfist showing up on this kill feed. Oh my gosh, they do manage to finally get that point, but man, was that a slugfest for the side of Orca Kings.
That was such great timing on that beat from Madoka. Narwhal was about to go down, and I think if Narwhal goes down there, you lose that huge sustain, and the timing was split second perfect, and now they're in a really good position here. We talked about how important these Reinhardt duels are, and we see them have such a huge advantage, not quite with the shatter and with the nano boost to back them up. Using both those things here to kind of shut down the opposing Reinhardt is going to be massive for Orca Kings to push it all the way.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. We'll see what they can do, though. Sizer going down right away is definitely not the 5v6 you want to leave your opponents in. They do manage to get TKO, but the spawn advantage is in favor for Pandemic, so they can still keep up this momentum and be a little aggressive if they so desire. The Earth Shatter comes out, though. Does get better. Can they go down? Yes, they will. Nicely done with the Meteor Strike. Both supports, I believe, are gone now. Lucio does have the backup. Kringling's very low in health. Soundbarrier might be committed here just to see if they can give them momentum. Yes, they will. Goes in the backline with the self-destruct sequence. Not to be the case. Aerodosian gets pinned as well. TKO. Beautifully done there. And they will be able to have the spawn advantage work out in favor of Pandemic.
And they also have the alt economy in their favor right now as well. Pandemic are in a good position here. 2 minutes on the clock. It's not all disaster here for Orca Kings. If they take the time, bait out some ultimates, build up their own, they can come back for a very strong fight with the alt economy in their favor, but they just have to take the time to build up those ults.
Well, I mean, it's a minute and 30 left, so you better get those ults as quick as you can. Deadeye is ready from Sire, but they are aware of where they are. They're going to try to commit to it. Earth Shatter's pretty big. Will be able to get two. I mean, not quite. An Arid Ocean are great pickoffs. If you are the McCree, you are happy with that, with the follow-up on the Earth Shatter. And it looks like, again, spawn advantage just really working out in favor here, Piper.
Oh, that's such a huge thing. The spawn advantage cannot be overstated. And another thing there, too, is they didn't really manage to build up many of their ultimates there. They probably can afford to take a quick fight here. I think that EMP is going to be what is the biggest factor here. Sizer getting that EMP, being able to hit as many members as possible of Pandemic, that is what needs to happen.
They need to also make sure they get on better. On better has that Blizzard ready, and you want to make sure that they don't have the AoE around it. They don't get it. They only get two people. The Blizzard most likely will be dropped now. And here it comes. Sound Barrier comes out just to be able to eat that Blizzard a little bit more, but it will not be enough. Weatherman does get DMX, but again, Madoka going down. This is not good. Oh, but Arid Ocean, but able to find Sire. So they're still able to keep up the momentum. Meteor Strike will come in, self-destruct as well, just to remake the mech. Maybe find something. Kringling going down as well. Orca Kings, they are making literally duct tape and toothpicks work together, holding it by a shoestring operation. Nice! Earth Shatter from not quite, and they will be able to get it within the time bank. Amazing stuff from Orca Kings.
I mean, that was chaos, but it seems to me like Orca Kings are thriving off of that chaos right now. Really, in those big chaotic fights where ultimates are flying everywhere, that's where they've been able to pull out these fights, and we've seen them be able to push it all the way now. So now the onus is on Pandemic to turn around and do the same.
We'll see if they can, though. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a surprise for me to go into a round 2 for this, because this is round 3, excuse me. As this, they had 5 minutes to work with, Piper, and now look at that, 9.6 seconds left remaining. I mean, you're happy to get it to the 3rd point, of course, but you certainly would like at least a minute left after working with so much time.
Oh, well, that's exact. You would like to have more than the 10 seconds, but
we take what we can get, of course.
And at the end of the day, you are going to get a minute. Even if we see this cart get pushed, all the way, they're getting a minute regardless. So at the end of the day, you can just be content with your 10 seconds. Obviously, you would like to see a bit more time, but you can rest easy kind of knowing, yeah, even if we screw up this defense, we still pushed it all the way, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but you don't want that time bank disadvantage, because going into the next round with like maybe 2 minutes behind your opponent, it can be very scary. But we're on the present now, so we'll get off that subject right now. And looking at the defense, not going to shake things up here. It is still committing to the same comps. They do have the information now. Already starting off the spy check. Don't know if they caught wind of whether Sizer is behind them or not, but it seems to be not the case. They are focused on the high ground. No real damage to say. With the Doomfist and Sombra, they can't really, just jump in there and get the high ground. And already Sire tries to just gets them out of the way. And now you're just left your team in this awkward position. Orca Kings Oh my goodness, 5v6 is not where you want it, and this is already a great way for the side of Pandemic to build a lot of time and time bank. You do have Doomfist trying to bother the backline, but I mean,
and that makes it even worse.
Oh man, they are just already working on, not quite going down exactly. You're right, Piper. I mean, this Doomfist, they're doing what they can, but they are going to get brought down very, very quickly. Arid Ocean have to get out of that situation, but they need to contest a massive ante as well. They're all going to go down one by one at some point. Saber finally goes down. That's at least something, but look at that. Onbetter also has the Blizzard ready. That is the fastest I've ever seen a Blizzard, and they don't even need to do anything. They get 3, and that is it. They get the point, and they will have over 5 minutes to work with. Wowie zowie, baby.
That is a massive, massive time bank available here for Pandemic. What a great push from them, and they already have so many ultimates available to them. All they need to do, keep this momentum going, get out there, use those ultimates. I want to see I'm Better just throwing this Blizzard out early on in this next fight. Obviously, they have to be careful of DPS Lucio main on the D.Va, but once you know that that D.Va has used the DM, just throw it out there.
That is a weird sentence to say. DPS Lucio main on the D.Va.
It hurt my brain to say it. Not
yeah,
gonna lie.
I felt it too, Piper. I felt it too, but I didn't feel it as much as not quite getting pinned in the ice wall. Beautiful combo coming in from Onbetter. I mean, Sizer does have the potential to drop an EMP very, very soon, but everybody's gone down, and you know, this is the hesitation sometimes you can see with a Sombra player. It really leaves the team in a 5v6 situation when you're with them.
It makes it difficult, but it is what it is. But can we just take a second to appreciate the near 6 ultimate bank that is currently available to Pandemic right now?
It's delicious. It really is. Deadeye comes out, though, the first of the 6. We'll see what they can do to get Ian. EMP comes out. Oh, that's pretty huge, actually. No Blizzard coming out anytime soon. Will they commit it to it, though? Earthshatter comes in. Looks nice with the sound barrier. Nicely done, staying in the back line. But here comes the Blizzard now. Oh, but it doesn't get activated. It gets hacked and denied. This is pretty massive. Huge ante coming in. Though self-destruct sequence. See if they can find anything. Nope, it won't be the case. It is just a slaughterfest, just back and forth, seeing what they can find here. It is just target prioritization. No shields, though. This could be massive against Madoka. That's all right. That's somebody right there, though. And TKO able to find the D.Va. It could maybe hold this out, but the spawn advantage now working in favor. Oh, the Earthshatter as well is working in favor for Orca Knights. It doesn't even need to be the spawn advantage. It's just sheerly nice firepower coming in way, and they will
What
be able
even
to hold it.
happened in that fight, Bemi? I counted 12,
so many ults were denied.
12 ultimates came out in that fight one way or another. That was chaos.
Dude, so much stuff was denied. That was crazy.
So much stuff was denied. So much stuff was countered out by those beats. I don't even know where to begin with that, because everybody, and I mean everybody, pressed Q in that fight. And that's what we talked about. Those chaotic fights are the ones that Orca Kings are coming out in front. I like this rotation here from Pandemic, and let's see if they can get their Deadeye and their Blizzard online here. If they can get those online quickly, they should be able to take this point and be in a good position to cap 3rd.
Could very well be, and that's the story, Piper. Can the DPS pull ultimate successfully? They got to be careful of DPS. They can eat it easily. A nice ante as well. Does get not quite, and that's already off the bat. You don't even need to drop the ultimate to get success like that. You do have to be careful, though. Arid Ocean, nicely done. Jumps up from the high ground, be able to stop things. Sizer also just hanging out in the back. Can't hack quite yet. Looking for that opening. Does be able to deny, but I mean, that is still a lot of damage coming in from the nano boost. They will be able to follow it up. And Ori off the bat, I mean, looks like they were just dry pushing at that moment. They still have a couple of minutes to work with here with Piper.
They have some stuff to work with here for sure, but I have to say credit where credit's due. Arid Ocean there really saved that for Orca
Absolutely.
Kings. That was huge. Some huge picks coming in. The question is now, is the EMP and the Doomfist all gonna be enough here to save Orca King's skin? Lots of 3 ultimates available here, and they're big ones. The Blizzard, the Shatter. Oh, here comes this EMP.
Looks pretty good. There it is. They deny the Deadeye as well. That's pretty massive. And not even gonna drop the Meteor Strike quite yet. Waiting for that Earth Shatter, and there it is. Nicely done. Gonna drop into it, see what they can find here. Gonna be at least able to find Kringling, but the trades are going a little back and forth. But I mean, because of how disorganized it is, I don't know. TKO's really committing to this. Narwhal's the last one hanging out on that balcony. They do manage to demech Weatherman. There's still enough time. They have to get to the elbow so they can contest.
The spawn advantage is going to be the difference here, unless Better can get back and throw out this Blizzard right away. I think the spawn advantage is going to come in.
They're here. And I mean, they're able to drop it, and they will be able to find it, and they do manage to get the frozen. No pin coming out. Soundbarrier comes out. 50 seconds remaining. They need to do something here. Self-destruct sequence is coming. You gotta drop the shield. Oh, the back! No! What are you doing, TKO? You let your friends die, and now they're all gone. Oh my God! Support coming in. They're all gone.
Dead.
They're all dead. 30 seconds remaining.
And now what do you do if you are Pandemic? The alt economy is in favor of Orca Kings here. Narwhal just has to put a nano on Not Quite, who has that shatter, and you could be in a lot of trouble. It comes down to Weatherman on this opposing Diva. If they cannot hit this bomb, it is all over here for Pandemic.
It is extremely unlikely. Here comes the shield. Does get Not Quite. That's actually kind of good for them. Will they be able to do it? Narwhal needs to be able to hold this. Or at least they do get the punch on the Kringling. That's amazing. They don't. Kringling doesn't get the beat, but TKO is still pushing through. A massive shatter. They're pushing on through, getting the momentum as they can. Now, they knew they can't switch to stagger comps because they need to be able to keep these ultimates. Holy smokes.
Anime Redemption arc is here, Bemi. TKO redeeming themselves with some absolutely massive play, and now a huge stagger onto Narwhal coming in for Pandemic. It's going to be tight in terms of the time bank, but this is wholly doable here for Pandemic. If they're able to, maybe even if they lose this fight, as long as they can bait out some ultimates here from Orca Kings, they're in good shape.
Orca Kings only needs to hold this for a minute. If they just find a good opening with the EMP, this could do it. Here it is. EMP coming out very soon. Translocator gets them in a good position to get all 6. Oh, the Earth Shatter comes out. This is massive. They get to hold on to the ultimates that they have waiting in the wing. They're going to go for everything that they can to swing this hammer. Not quite just going for the pin if they can. They're going to even be able to stagger the Diva. This is exactly what you wanted to see as Orca Kings.
But it is not over yet for Pandemic, Bemi. They could they can still get back into this, and we've seen them do it before. The beat is going to be available for Kringling, which is going to provide so much sustain. The question is, can they clean up this Orca King side before Madoka gets that beat? Because that beat that Madoka is getting towards is going to be the difference here.
It really is the $64,000 question. Well, here goes. Arid Ocean, seeing if they can find anything. The support's coming in, getting in a good position as well. Self-destruct sequence coming in. Oh, man, it was really high up, so Arid does get taken down. This is not what you want to see, but the Soundbarrier comes in from Kringling, and this is actually pretty good. They're in a great position. They still have the self-destruct sequence. Shatter is far away, but they have a nano boost to power up the Rhine, so there's a lot of things going for them if they can just push on through. Weatherman gets hacked. The wall comes in. The wall, though, it slipped through the cracks, so they're still able to drop the Soundbarrier. Blizzard coming in, the Deadeye as well, but the self-destruct sequence, there's no shield. Oh, it gets 2! Nancy, see what they can find here. Narwhal just shutting things down. The operation is it, and they will have the series tied 1-1. Orca Kings making good use of their counter pick.
What absolute chaos there at the end. Absolute chaos at its finest.
It really was. It was, also on top of that, just a lot of tunnel visioning. I will say, though, I do have to call that out. There was a couple of things, you know, that 4K that we just saw at play of the game, TKO really committed to swinging at that Ana.
Yeah, that was something that we did see quite a bit. TKO really focusing in on swinging that hammer, and it even happened there at the end. TKO did get slept, and that's what resulted in that 2K, but TKO is still swinging away while that bomb was in the air, not making any effort to think about shielding it. And if you're the Reinhardt, you got to be thinking, I have to be shielding right now because everybody's going to be throwing their CC abilities at me to try to shut me down. So a bit of tunnel visioning there coming out.
It's a very exciting match to see who gets match point. Don't go anywhere. We are going back to our lovely, beautiful map, which is Hanamura, right after this break. Actually, Anubis, excuse me. We're actually going to shake things up. It's going to be Temple Anubis when we come back. warm welcome back indeed. Thanks to our wonderful players. It is now 1-1, and they are making this series ever so interesting for me and Piper. Wouldn't you say so?
Oh, it has definitely been close, Bemi, going back and forth. We saw it first on Busan, and that was kind of an indicator that this was going to be a tight series. And then we saw Pandemic go up 1-0 from Busan, but Orca Kings coming right back into it, bringing us to 1-1, and now we are heading into Temple of Anubis.
And I will, a small reminder, Orca did counterpick this map, which was Dorado, and now they won that. And Pandemic now are going to be able to counterpick. So while it's still a very close series, do you think Pandemic will be able to do the same thing that Orca did?
I think it's totally possible, Bemi. I mean, it was such a close map there on Dorado. It literally came down to a couple of fights and a couple of small individual mistakes. Those are easily fixable, and it's very easy for you to go into this next map, not make those mistakes, and come out on top.
Well, there's less high ground to take advantage of, but certainly great diving spots as a Sombra to be able to get those EMPs. Do you think we're going to see roughly the same thing? I mean, Orca starting off on defense. I mean, Sombra, Doomfist, I kind of dig on Anubis. That's like a really fun comp that I think you can get away with a lot of things.
My only concern is that, on things such as the defense, they might, even on the offense, I think they might be a little bit limited in places that they can go for cheeky hacks. I think they might have to work around that, but I think it's still totally doable. I think they just might have to put in a lot more effort into getting those good hacks and getting value for your positioning. I mean, Cesar did a good job. We saw lots of great EMPs and great Sombra play, but there were a couple times that we saw them get caught out. They weren't on 100% invisible Sombra, so that could prove difficult going forward for Scissor and Orca Kings.
I think definitely you don't go for the flanking route. I think you go sticking with your team and just kind of finding openings in the front, which doesn't sound great because you would much rather have that May or that Reaper or something that can really just put a thorn in their side. Sombra in the front line is not that great, but can still find openings if you're able to pressure the shield. So,
100%.
Yeah.
You can definitely pressure a shield, farm your EMP from the front. You're kind of just like a low damage McCree or May spam, but it's still, you can put 100%. You can put pressure on those shields.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most effective, but it's certainly one way of going it. You definitely will have Doomfist probably, bothering the backline a little bit more. It really all comes down to what is Pandemic's goal when they're pushing in? Are they going to push mid? Are they trying to go for the high ground on the far left when you're coming in from, or far right, when you're coming in from attack spawn? Or are you going to go for the far left where it's extremely narrow corners, but you have a lot of cover to work with, and you can do a lot of reach around and farming for ultimates? So I think, what would you say is the most effective path for Pandemic to really just take advantage of the comp that we've been seeing from Orca?
I think that they just need to look to play hyper aggressive here. I think that Sizard has to take the time to set up the Sombra, so screw it. Just full on 100%,
W mouse one.
W mouse one right into their face. Give them no space to breathe. Give them no space for their Doom to hit any combos. Just absolutely shove it right in their face.
Okay, and which route would you say is the most effective for that? Would that be mid, left, right?
I think going around to the left, it's going to be a lot harder for Scissor to set things up. If you go around that left pathing from the attacker spawn, it's very easy for you to spy check behind you, and Scissor's not going to be able to get in behind. You can group up, keep spy checking, make sure that Sombra's not tailing you, and then, like I said, usually the other team's going to posture up on that platform, and you can just push right into their face.
We'll see what happens. Looking at the defense right now, for our friends, they are committing to this. However, DPS Lucio May no longer on that diva. They are sticking into Zarya. And I like this idea. It helps the DPSs escape, aggressive routes a lot more easily.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what it's for. Arid Ocean gets into a little bit of trouble. You can throw that bubble on there. Scissored as well. As well as the supports too. Madoka can get a little bit more aggressive with those bubbles with their wall riding.
Yeah, and you can boop off people from the high ground. I mean, this is a really solid tech choice if you want to commit to this comp. We are going to see the ice wall come out, though. No real change in composition coming in from the side of Pandemic. They're just going to commit to this, and we'll see if they can get rewarded for this. This is going to be a little bit of a tight corner. They don't have to worry about as much spam damage or aggression, though, or May really to get walled up. So they can kind of get all up in here and get in the grill of our friends over at Orca. See what they can do here. They do get hacked, though. Already off the bat, Weatherman does get denied some of the abilities that they can do. But not for long, though. They will be okay. But it looks like already not quite going to go down. TKA able to get the pin onto Narwhal. And I think already off the bat, Pandemic having a little bit of trouble here with Arid Ocean. They do manage to stop him. I don't know if they're going to be able to cap the point quite yet, but it looks like they will be able to. They just have to just get rid of some pesky gnats and they'll be good to go. All right, Pandemic, I see what you're doing here. Nice little commitment and understanding your situation. I like it already, Piper.
And that's exactly what they needed to do. Just go into the face. They were a little hesitant, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. They just need to be prepared to take the pathing that is going to limit Scissor's contributions. And I think the pathing coming up here, go around to that left side. It's very similar to the pathing on the left side of the first point. It's difficult for Scissor to get in there without getting a spy check.
Yeah, big time. And, you know, it's very difficult to pull off. But at the moment, look at this ult economy. I'm better. Could drop a massive blizzard after the shatter, or vice versa. We'll see what happens here. There's a lot of follow-up that they can do. It comes down to what they want. And they are aware that Arid Ocean was hanging out on one of those platforms, and they will not be able to have the element of surprise. See what happens. Ice Wall does make it a little bit awkward here, but a good punch coming in from Arid Ocean. Sire's not going to be able to do anything about this. Coalescence comes in. Nice Meteor Strike as well. Arid Ocean playing the town hero right now for this point, and the EMP will come out as well. And I don't know if that was maybe necessary, but they certainly managed to close it out.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a necessary EMP, and that could be their undoing here. I mean, they really needed that. Going forward here, that levels up the ult economy so much more. We could see a big Blizzard Bomb combination coming in here from Pandemic. That could be absolutely huge. Both sides have that beat to cancel each other out, and Sire just kind of puts that ult economy a little bit forward here, having that Deadeye available. If they can use it when Scissor is forced out of position and not get hacked out like we've seen them in the past on Dorado, this can be huge here for Pandemic.
Would be pretty cool, but we'll wait and see. I mean, Pandemic also have to deal with this grab, and we'll see what happens with them. It could very well be massive. Let's see. Shelter Strike sequence comes in. Good bubble. Gives a lot of damage. Premature on their shatter, but still puts them on their toes. Sire does drop that Deadeye. Won't be able to find anything, though. Not quite. But they are still outputting a lot of damage. But here, grab. Really nice stuff. This could be exactly what they needed. And they will be able to mop them up. Beautifully done from Orca. And they, you know, I mean, this allows them to catch up ult economy-wise. This is exactly the situation you wanted if you were on the side of Orca.
Oh, it's exactly what you needed to do. They played their ultimates really, really well. But again, the ult economy is looking good here for Pandemic. They need to get that Blizzard out, though. That is going to be the big ultimate that can help them clean up this fight quickly and swiftly and allow them to take the second point with a sizable time remaining.
Well, we'll see what happens here. I mean, Orca, they are on defense, and their defense is I must say, you know, impressive in some cases, but they got to be careful. Blizzard will come out here, does manage to stop them quite efficiently. Sound Barrier will come out, though. And here comes the Doomfist Meteor Strike coming in. Oh my gosh, we'll see what happens. I mean, okay, Doomfist going in the back line. Doesn't find anything, but the EMP will be massive enough. Sides are able to find so many people, and there it is, Narwhal. You can't escape a beam of laser, or laser beam, excuse me, if you have no way of escaping and staggering the D.Va. Orca's just clutching it out once again.
Oh, absolutely huge. A little bit of team play there coming in from Scissor and Narwhal with their ultimates. They just dismantled Pandemic in a swift fashion. with that EMP and Coalescence combination. And now there's not a whole lot available to either one of these teams. This is going to be a very dry fight and may just come down to who can play this dry fight better.
I think you're definitely not trying to get anything except maybe a tick and also some ults for one final push. You definitely don't want to make this fight last long if you're on the side of Pandemic. You gotta be very, very careful. Oh, Weatherman does have self-destruct sequence, and they can manage to find not quite in a good position where it doesn't get to them. Could be big. Let's see what they find. Nothing, but it's okay. You're still able to push through. Pandemic, able to find quite a couple of results, actually. Nice pin as well. Still pushing through. Sire's looking for a pick, and they will be able to find it once they flashbang somebody. Beautifully done. I mean, this is great work coming in from PBS. Sire gets close and comfortable with the Deadeye as well. Doesn't find anything, but still looking stylish all the same, like the cowboy that they are. Does manage to finally get the first tick, and I was expecting Attack not to have an easy time with the even playing field, but we'll see what happens. Earth Meteor Strike comes in, grabs Earth Shatter, does buy them some time to escape it. Beautifully done. Blizzard comes out. Oh my gosh, this could be exactly what they needed. EMP comes out, but there's not going to be enough follow-up. So while the EMP was impressive for a 6-person EMP, it's just not going to be enough firepower to follow up on. And here we go. Sunbear comes out, buys them a little bit more time to regroup, maybe get the Coalescence online for Narwhal. They might just press Q right away, but they got to be careful. They're so low in health, they may not want to do it. Self-destruct sequence comes out from Weatherman just to be able to remech and get some kind of healthier mech. But Aerodocious swapping onto the Bastion, able to fight too. 20 seconds remaining. This is definitely the final fight one way or another. And somebody's going to get you. Not quite is able to get TKO. Beautiful ground pound. Oh my gosh, they will be able to hold it.
Close that out. They had it, and the follow-up was just not there, Bemi. And now they're just barely getting any touches in, and I don't think they're going to be able to close this out.
No, especially with Sire going down right away. Ground pound's not looking good. D-Mech onto the Diva. Hyper, I think we will use this time to kind of recap what we just saw.
No, I mean, it looked like we were going to see Pandemic take this point, Bemi. And just like that, it slipped out of their hands. Arid Oceans with a very cheeky swap over to the Bastion, caught Pandemic off guard, able to secure 2 huge kills, and then from there it just went all downhill.
Extremely well done. Great comeback. I think spawn advantage came into play here and just understanding everybody's job and position from the side of Orcas. So, Pandemic though, pushed it quite decently enough that they will have a lot of elbow room to work with. Will they take advantage of this? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
You know what? I think Pandemic is in a good position here, Bemi. Although you didn't get that second cap, the second cap is very difficult on a 2CP. The spawn advantage is so in favor of the defenders. You just have to be perfect in your attack. So it's not an easy thing by any stretch of the imagination. And if Pandemic can mount a stronger defense on this first point than we saw come out from Orca Kings, they can 100% get back in this series.
Well, I mean, they're certainly not out of it. Like, you know, earlier we said it is 1-1, so, I mean, nobody's going home after this map, so we'll wait and see what happens, like I said earlier. And, you know, I think what it comes down to at Piper is this Torb. It's throwing my yams off.
Bemi, I will say unashamedly, I am a Torb one trick in comp. I 100% approve of this composition. But you know what,
my friend Chico.
You know what the key is going to be to this comp, in all honesty? Torb, actually, you can put out a fair amount of damage with Torb. The problem is that players focus too much on the turret placement. You focus so much on, I need to place the perfect turret, that you forget to actually shoot at people, right?
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
If you can just focus on actually, you know, using your left click ability, you might be
touching
right.
the point. Hello, excuse me, Orca able to get the first tick, make that the potentially the second. There it is, right there. I am getting worried for our friends over at Pandemic. They, you know, okay, so about that, like, so worried about setting up the correct turret thing happening. That quite literally happened tenfold.
They just didn't want to get off the high ground there, Bemi, which is hard for some teams. It's hard to convince yourself, yes, we're ready to go for this engagement. But you know what? Second point here, you're pretty much forced to fight on the point, so it's not over yet. They just have to kind of weather the storm of these ultimates here.
Well, great hope they also address the Torque turret. That would be pretty nice. I mean, the Earth Shatter already out the bat, catching them off guard, and a huge crit from not quite. There is the Molten Core coming out, though, and it does get not quite. However, will that be enough, I wonder? They will still have quite a few players still fighting through.
Go, Sire, go!
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, Sire is pushing through. They do manage to get the melee. Not the hammer kill, though, so I'm extremely disappointed. It doesn't count.
Sometimes you've just got to forego that hammer kill. That was a great play there. Great play there from Sire. The biggest thing there was that Torb ultimate. That little bit of zoning on that corner of the point just gives your team so much space to get back into this fight. And now, look, the ult economy has leveled a little bit more here. Much more even playing field. And this is starting to look very doable for Pandemic. Like I said, you have to be perfect in your attacks. And that is going to be no easy task for Orca teams.
Let's see. Well, EMP off the bat, already huge. I'm better, so I'm able to find him. And Torque's not going to be able to live much longer for this either. This could be the opening that they need. Is there a shield enough to protect them? No, it doesn't even matter. TKO able to get double fire strike is actually pretty huge. I don't even think they'll be able to get a tick off of this. Arid Ocean, it's a dangerous gamble, but you could commit to the Meteor Strike if you so desire, but I think it's actually too far gone now, and they will not commit to it, understandably so. And, at the moment, once again, Pandemic still able to hold on to it.
I think a big thing here worth noting, Bemi, is Sire is actually swapped, unfortunately, off the Torbjorn onto the Doomfist now, and I think that actually throws a little bit of a composition.
No, they're back.
Oh, he's back. All right, spoke too soon. Let's get hyped about the Torbjorn once again.
You can't deny contention comps. They're just not gonna last forever. We'll see. However,
I'm ready. Inject the molten core into my veins.
Well, at the moment we're gonna give you a little bit of a chill pill with this blizzard coming in from Better and see if they can find anything with this. No, they won't be able. As a matter of fact, Narwhale on the other side just pushing into the coalescence. This is really aggressive here and looking good right now. This could be finally the push that Orcas were looking for. Look for a bunch, just see what they can do. 1 tick, 2 ticks will come into fruition. Yes, it will. I don't think it's really much of any ways of contesting this. They are trying their best, but I mean, it's all for naught. It is going 1 by 1. Tries to get the wrecking ball, still gets it either way. And there we go. Orca will be able to bring it to match point. Fortunately, Torb dreams weren't real there. Unfortunately, Piper, I'm sorry about that, buddy.
I'm a little bit disappointed that the Torbjorn didn't work out, but I admire Sire for trying it anyways. Just didn't work out, and we are going to see Orca go up 2-1 in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it is, we are going to see it 2-1 for the Orcas, and we'll see how it works. This was probably the most convincing win that we've seen in the series so far. So now, there was that hesitation of commitment. Like, you said earlier that you wanted to see WMS1 from Pandemic, and it just did not come into fruition. They just were really worried about getting the right positioning and the setup done correctly, and we'll see what happens for the next map. It is going to be King's Row once again. I'm not really surprised. I mean, with King's Row, it's going to be tough. I mean, for Pandemic, but I understand this very middle of the road hybrid. I don't know what the other options were off the top of my head, but I mean, this is, there's hard places to get away from, Doomfist flanking the back. EMPs can come out of nowhere. There's just so many scary things about King's Row if you're on the Pandemic side.
But at the same time, King's Row, like you mentioned, is a very comfortable map for people. So I'm not at all shocked by this pick because, quite simply, it's probably a map that Pandemic themselves are very comfortable on. So you have to balance the risk versus reward here. Yes, there can be EMPs coming out of nowhere, lots of little cheeky Doomfist spots. But if you are more comfortable on that map, you have to play to your strengths as well.
Well, we'll see if you can play your strengths here. Because, again, with the even playing field that King's Row is honestly everybody's map. So it feels like not a desperation pick, but it feels like a pick that needs to really pay off in spades. Otherwise, they really need to win this, because I feel like if it went to map 5, Pandemic stand a great chance because they made it extremely close, and I think they were the ones that won the control point map. But I'll wait and see. I'm just going to hold my breath. I also am curious if we're going to see a shakeup in DPS. I don't think that's going to be the case. We've been seeing commitments to these teams very consistently, so I don't think we're going to shake off anything. So going in with that state of mind, Piper, who do you think is kind of going to be more rewarded for their playstyle? This Sombra Doomfist, or do you think Bakri and May still going to hold up?
I think we are going to see this Sombra Doomfist hold up here for Orca Kings. We've seen it, every single map of this series now for them, Bemi. I think it's their style of play. I think it's what they like to do. And quite honestly, the last 2 maps, it has worked for them. Why bother changing things up?
That's fair enough. Well, let's see how this defense looks. Air to Ocean committing to the May. No Doomfist today, lads. All right, so we are going to actually see a shake up here. Not surprised, though. Not quite on this Reinhardt. Could get some easy pins. Like, how do you feel about this May, knowing that, you're not have Doomfist Sombra?
You know what? I think that the May is going to be a good... It's hard
a good
to say.
pick, but there's no synergy between the May and the Sombra per se.
You know what, though? It's a good pick, and I think it's going to provide great value in being able to isolate members of Pandemic, which is going to compound on the fact that Cesar is already doing that themselves.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, already the Ice Wall comes off the play, but it does not do it in time. I mean, Cesar does manage to get Saber, which is nice. Actually managed to get 2. I'm thoroughly shocked. Their backline is totally exposed. Most, of course, going down is massive. And they will be able to finish this off with the Ice Wall pretty much segregating the party. And they will be able to just stagger them just even a little bit more. And, yeah, okay, color me impressed. I mean, Orca are still doing it.
I think that's something here we didn't really think about, is these ice walls at this choke point. They go up, and most of the team can focus on whoever's in front of that ice wall, but Cesar is behind that ice wall, again, putting pressure on whoever's on the other side of it.
Yeah, and Saber pushes up a little aggressively, able to throw a little bit of healing between the 2 ice walls. Nicely done. Narwhal, also on top of that, they have a Coalescence already off the bat, so this is pretty massive. Not quite gonna have to be taxi, so they're gonna have to play a little bit careful here, but we'll see if they're able to do so. Oh, actually, Cesar going down. This is pretty big. Sire able to get Air Ocean. Oh my goodness, this could be where they finally get the point. It is going to be potentially one more fight. I don't know. I mean, the ice wall is looking pretty good here. They're gonna try to contest, it looks like. You got 1 tick left to do it. Nah, gonna back up, gonna be respectful. Good idea.
Oh no, they're going for it.
No, don't commit to it.
Get it.
Oh my gosh. Piper, what are you doing here, buddy? You gotta reset. Now you're just gonna get absolutely mowed down and no chance to fight this choke.
Oh, exactly. You're gonna be looking to fight here at that last to second last corner. Just die. Just get reset here. And just come back as a full force. You have the ult economy available to you. You can match pretty much ult for all everything that Pandemic is gonna throw at you here if you are the Orca Kings. You just need to take a step back, reset, and go into this fight as a team.
You have a lot of ultimates, but what ultimates would you use? You gotta stay very resourceful here.
Honestly, I'd be looking at something like an EMP grab. Just absolutely shut them down here.
Okay, EMP grab. You heard it here, folks. Blizzard could come out right now, though. Might come back the other way around. We are going to see them just pushing aggressively. This Earth Shatter comes in. Oh, poor Aaron. Oh, she gets void the heck out of. But an Earth Shatter coming in round back, but on better. And making the AoE work out very much in their favor. And they are going to just keep pushing on through. Killing Ring still swinging that mace around. And there we go. Finally gets somebody bonked on the back of the head. And I mean, Dave, actually, that's a really good turnaround. Still able to push on through. I mean, Pandemic looking really good here.
Oh, they're definitely looking a lot stronger. That was a really awkward and uncomfortable fight for Orca Kings. Scissor are gonna get the touch, but it's not enough here. And we are going to see a monumental 4 minutes and 45-second time bank here heading into the third point for Pandemic.
My goodness, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. You could cook 2 hot pockets with that, Piper. The extra meat kind, so they take a lot more time. So, see what you can take advantage of here. Speaking of hot pockets, they are going to be very deeply condensed in this last part of the street phase. EMP comes out. Oh, but it gets denied by the flashbang. Or I don't know what happened there, but that was a weird interaction. I think maybe the bubble just came a little bit too late. Arid Ocean will be also brought down by Sire. Oh my gosh, these overhead flashbangs are doing detrimental work. This is amazing coming in from the side of Pandemic. Spy checking as well with the Brigitte has been ingenious as well.
Yeah, this Brigitte swaps seems to be providing a lot more problems than I expected.
It's a massive grab as well. This whole team, this whole coordination has just been adding way too much trouble for the current composition that they want to rock on the side of Orca. And now here we go, Pandemic dropping a blizzard, able to find quite a few people. One pin is not going to do it. I mean, that's going to be it. They are going to be able to finish with 3.5 minutes on the time bank. Pandemic certainly have found the cure.
I completely underestimated that Brigitte, but you are right. I think that little bit of extra spy checking and as well that little bit of extra brawliness was the difference maker there. We talked about how we wanted to see Pandemic get in their face more, and the Brigitte enabled them just to do that. The ability to be providing damage output as well as healing is just absolutely huge, and I think that's really what the difference maker there was.
I think honestly it is. I think if you really are being bothered by the Sombra that much, you gotta adapt to it. And certainly Pandemic took a little time to turn around to it, but they certainly managed to adapt, and that's really what it comes down to. And I mean, they certainly did in a nick of time. Holy smokes, you want to bring it to map 5? This is the kind of play style you need to bring into it, Piper. So, going into this, my friend, what should we be expecting coming in from this defense? We are going to see the same thing, and do you think potentially may see even a hold? Like, not a full hold, but may not even get to the 3 points here. You gotta adapt real fast here if you're on the side of Orca.
Oh, they definitely need to pull out something different here, and it looks like Scissor choosing to go with the Widowmaker here as well. Seeing the Sigma, I'm not sure if that is just a debate, but we have not seen much Sigma since the meta shift. So yeah. I'm not really sure we are going to see the swap. Okay, the swap over to the Zarya makes a little bit more sense. But
initial shot?
Cesard with this Widowmaker, I'm not sure if it's just an initial shot or what.
It's an initial shot, yeah.
And we are going to see them swap back here, so maybe, I don't know, Orca Kings might struggle with this. I don't know if they found the answer to it quite yet.
Yeah, and there's the spy checking right there. The Brigitte finds it. Alderworth is nowhere safe for a Sombra, and they go down right away because of Sire. There you go. You got some synergy going around here. Some serious spy checking. Now, all right, Piper, we're going to give you some time to talk about this. What do you want to swap here if you're the DPS? Because, I mean, this is still fine, but you're going to have a tough time pushing.
I think you just need to realize what is causing Pandemic to win these fights is the ability to spy check through Sombra. As well, they have a little bit more ability to face value fights. So I'd like to see them maybe bring in something like a May or a McCree of their own, something to give them a little bit more brawl in place of this Sombra.
Oh,
if you want to keep the Doomfist, that's fine, but you need to swap to something else, because as we've seen in these face-to-face fights, you are just getting rolled because Scissor just can't get in there with Kringling swinging away.
I don't even know if you want to keep the Doomfist, because if you can't keep the Sombra and deny those abilities of the McCree and May, it's going to be tough. Arid Ocean going down is pretty huge. The Earth Shatter comes in, not going to be able to, or actually no Earth Shatter, excuse me, it's just simple double pin, nicely done. Good follow-up, gets not quite. Sire goes down, but I mean, at the end of the day, the player advantage is still going in favor for Pandemic. Holy smokes, yeah, I actually think you need to swap off the Doomfist as well, because if your Sombra's not finding the value, your Doomfist is certainly not going to find it. Coalescence comes in here. I'll let you talk for a little bit. Oh, it's a 4-person shatter, or 4-person EMP, but it's not going to be enough. The Nano Boost is going to be able to come out, and the Sire's still able to get that. Earth Shatter will come in. Nicely done. Able to find the Zarya, and they'll push it back. quite a few ultimates, but again, Pandemic still holding on. It's 1:50 left on the clock.
That was a chaotic fight there. Orca Kings were trying to get into it there. They just couldn't do it. They need to make some swaps here. You are right. If they don't swap, I don't think they can possibly bring this back here, Bemi.
It's a tough cookie. It's a tough cookie indeed. And, I mean, Arid Ocean, they're designated Doomfist, but pray hope they got something else up coming. We'll see what happens. It could very well that they start swapping, or, you know, it's a 9-player roster. They certainly got some subs around the corner. Here comes the grab, beautifully done. The bubble coming in, finds a good opening with the pin, gets, you know, not quite, really, really low, and they will be able to not bring them down, but Fire Strike, cheeky little Fire Strike, see what we can do there. But I mean, at the moment, this is so clean coming in from Pandemic, and we got less than a minute remaining, dude.
Well, I can see what Orca Kings are trying to go for now, Bemi. They're stacking up those ultimates. Look, they nearly have 5 of them available, but I think there might just be enough here to kind of counter these out.
Oh, but the anti. Maybe not indeed. Narwhal with just a lot of damage to the AoE just coming in. I guess, really, when in doubt, press Q, right?
That's exactly what we saw Orca Kings going for there. They just went, yeah, we have 5 ultimates, so we're going to press Q till we win this fight. And there was just no other ultimates that came out on the side of Pandemic in time.
I don't know if you want to make it a habit, though. I mean, it worked once, but you can't guarantee that ultimates will work all the time.
Well, especially now that you're only starting with 2 minutes and 45 seconds as opposed to 4 minutes, you have 1 minute and 15 seconds left, so you can't spend as much time building up those ultimates.
Exactly right. Way to number crunch, my friend. And you gotta really find those openings, which are gonna be tough. So, I mean, getting hold at this choke right now is one of the worst situations you could be in. Like, Sizar getting caught up by Sire. Good spy checking right there. Knew exactly where they were. And already off the bat, these are getting hold of choke. And this is the worst feeling if you're on attack, Piper.
Oh, this is just absolutely stifling. It feels like you're being suffocated by the other team in this choke point. But the big EMP coming in!
But the Ombetter does manage to be able to stay on. The Blizzard stays in the back line long enough. Will they be able to follow through with it, though? I wonder. It doesn't seem to be the case. Another Shadow will come in. They are still going to try to push and vie for this hold. Because really, at the end of the day, if they are able to burn more time off the time bank in this fight, it works for them. There were so many ultimates committed by the side of Orca Kings that they're okay with this, and they will fall back as best as they can. Not going to be as successful as they would like it to be, but at the end of the day, it's 1 minute and 30 seconds left to get through straight space, which you don't want if you're on Orcas.
No, and there are as well some big ultimates coming available here for Pandemic. They have that rally, which will provide lots of sustain as well. They have the Graviton Surge. That is going to be the big ultimate here for them to be able to clean up this fight fairly quickly.
Well, it is ult economy disadvantage as well. I mean, there is so many things. A good grab can just deal with this. Here comes Sire with the Deadeye. Finds Madoka. That's actually pretty big. The AoE healing is not going to be there. We traded in. Coalescence trying to keep everybody stabilized. The Meteor Strike is going to try to go in here, see what they can find. Grab is also huge as well. Not going to be able to get the pin, though. But, I mean, Sire, at the end of the day, is just mouse wanting it. And this is huge. And as long as they're spy checking to make sure nobody's going to be able to Charlie Niner this, then they are fine. 30 seconds remaining, Piper. Oh my gosh.
And the ult economy is looking to be slightly in favor of Orcas here. It's not over yet. They are going to get their EMP here, and they're going to have a Graviton Surge. Those are going to be huge. But that's a pickoff. They no longer have the EMP. This could go any which way now. Bemi, that completely changes things with that pickoff.
That is a major pick. Pandemic Earthshatter comes in, but a nice bubble coming in to keep everybody alive. There is both the grab coming in, but oh my gosh. Hold on a second. Are we getting another clutch here? Some skill orbs comes your way. You get some health. Narwhal just going DPS Moira. And we got another hack. You can't start relying on Qs. Keep them coming. In 1 minute and 30 seconds left. I mean, time making disadvantage is guaranteed here, but you're making it to the next round if you can keep up stuff like this.
They could maybe push it all the way here, Bemi. They are running out of time, however, and the ult economy is still a little bit in their favor, but could shift here with this fight. All it takes is one good blizzard from I'm Better, and things could change around completely.
Well, I mean, Blizzard coming in, 6-person EMP is pretty massive, but I mean, they have to back up. The EMP, or the Blizzard asks them to basically back away, give us more space, and they are doing that right now. Orcas have to respect this area. Narwhal will be able to find a couple, though. Okay, maybe they can make this work. Jump over the ice wall. I'm Better. Not going to be able to stop the Zarya from doing any damage, and yeah, they really just got to reset here, so jumping off a let. Do what you can. Reset. You only got 30 seconds remaining, Piper.
It's exactly it. There is only 30 seconds left. This is one fight territory, and we're gonna see them coming in strong here. The beats coming in. This is such a Q fight. Oh, Arid Ocean, no!
Arid Ocean coming in. It does get booped off by the mace. Can't come back at any time, and Krangling just swinging the hammer away. This is actually pretty massive. Are they not going to be able to touch Pandemic? We're going to game 5. That's it.
We are going all the way, Bemmy. All the way.
All the way. Let's go all the way. What is that song? I can't remember that song. I don't know. But anyways, this is super impressive. That... Oh my gosh, that showed so much weakness on the side of Orcas, with all due respect. No swapping off the Sombra or the Doomfist and continuing to get spy checked by the Brigitte. Krangling was such an MVP of that game to bring it to map 5, and now it's easily could go either way.
Oh, and that's exactly it now, is really in a series like this that is going all the way to 5 maps, quite honestly, the only map that really matters in the end is, quite honestly, it's the 4th map, because that's the map that sets the mentality for that final map. And at this point, you're tired, you're mentally fatigued, and really what carries you over the finish line is what if it feels like you can win this series or not.
Okay. I have to say we did see Pandemic win the 1st map, and we also are going to 5th map, and they also now know how to spy check. Orca's going to have a lot to work on at this moment, so we'll see what happens here. Do they bring in the wheels and start shaking up things? Like, what does the wheels do? Wheels is their only available swap here, and the wheels is not even on this list. I think it's somebody else. Might be their different name, but I mean, let's see. What else? It could potentially be...
Yeah, I don't know.
The May? I don't know. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, it looks like our next map here, though, is going to be Ilios, which is listed as Orca King's favorite map. So perhaps this might be a way for Orca Kings to bounce back into the series playing on their favorite map. Maybe they have some secret strategy that they're going to pull out for us, Bemmy.
Maybe boot people in the well? Is that their secret strat?
I don't know if that's a secret, Bemmy. I think everybody knows about that one.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of team strats that I hear about, and it just turns out to be the same thing. So it's like, guys, we go for environmental kills only. They could double down on that. It really does depend on what the maps are. Like, okay, so
100%.
let's go one by one, Piper. Who do you say which map goes to who? Like, who goes to Lighthouse, who goes to Well, who goes to Ruins?
I mean, that's tough. I would say Lighthouse and Well, we would likely, honestly, probably see go the way of Orca Kings, because of the fact that what has led to Pandemic success is playing that Brigitte over the Lucio. As well, you factor in Arid Ocean is playing Doomfist, which is a hero that is known for, just displacing people, causing environmental kills to happen, especially when there's those wide open spaces. Plus, they're playing with the Lucio as well, which is something Pandemic lacks when they play that Brigitte. So I would say Well and Lighthouse, where we see those environmental kills happen the most, would probably end up going the way of Orca Kings, just for those reasons.
Man. Okay, yeah, it's going to be tough. I think okay, so if we want to really say this, which of the maps would be the closest, you think? Do you think it would be would it be Ruins or would it be Lighthouse?
I think Lighthouse would be closest. I could see Ruins because of the less open nature of the map pretty comfortably going the way of Pandemic if they're playing their spy checking comp. However, Lighthouse, I think, is going to be close because it gets very brawly in that Lighthouse itself, and there's not necessarily a guarantee for environmental kills if you play smart. That one could be close, and it just will come down to, again, depending on how well the teams play it, if they make individual mistakes or not.
Okay. Well, at the long and short of it is, it's map 5, dude. Let's. I know it didn't happen the first time, but can we get like some pogs in chat? Like, this is going to be really exciting. Should be fun.
It is going to be thrilling, Bemi. It's
Map
not often
5.
it's not often that you get to see map 5s, and it's even less often that they happen on stream.
That happened on stream. They're on a really fun map. Like, Ilios is one of my favorite maps to cast. They are a great time. And, you know, there's so many things that could go well here. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's here. Okay, so game 5. Who's your call? Who's your pick? Who do we want?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here, Bemi.
I am.
You know what? I'd have to say, I honestly think that despite what I've said, I think Pandemic might be able to pull it off here just because they probably have a good confidence boost coming off that victory on Kings Row, which could lead to some more mistakes coming in from Orca Kings.
It could be true. I will say, however, just to contradict you, I'm going to go with the Orcas just because I like whales. Whales are really cool.
That's not a bad reason to choose at all, Bemi. And I guess you also do have 2 map victories to back that up as well.
Yeah.
So,
I have 2 map victories. What do you have? 2 map victories? Oh man. But my 2 map victories are way more victorious than your 2 map victories. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know. I'm making very dumb competitive call-outs that aren't even necessary. We're on the same team technically, so at the end of the day, we are going into it. We don't need to buy any more time. For goodness sakes, Bird, you're a hero for freaking throwing this into game. All right, here we go. Shout out to birds, y'all. They're really cool. Shout out to animals. Animals are great.
Bemi, did you know that there's a subreddit that is r/birds aren't real? Do you know that's a real thing?
I don't want to know anymore.
It is. Yeah, birds aren't real, Bemi.
Birds aren't real?
As per Reddit, apparently.
As per Reddit. Yes, Reddit.
Yeah.
That
sounds about accurate.
Sounds
about accurate for Reddit, right?
It sounds accurate for, I think, quite literally the internet. I think Reddit is why stop there? It's quite literally the internet. Internet says birds aren't real, and so be it. I guess I don't know. All I know is I see some weird winged fellows, but we'll see. Either way, we are going to see some comps committed. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff, Piper. How on earth are you going to come back here if you're on the side of Orcas?
I think that, again, they just have to use the environment to their advantage here. I think that's the one thing they have going for them over Kings Row is the environment. They can get more environmental kills, a capability that we are going to see Pandemic lack.
Well, Pandemic is not lacking in the picks, though. I mean, they already off the bat get not quite. And getting that main tank right off the bat, no matter what map you are on control, but losing that main tank is pretty huge. Already Sire off the bat does get a flashbang onto Lucio Madoka. Doesn't go down quite yet, though. Oh my gosh, what happened here? Weatherman, I actually just missed that, but it seems like they're still able to maybe capture the point. I mean, they're still fighting on this, but this is dangerous territory. Seeing a lot of commitment here. Looking at the Earth Shatter timings as well. TKO does have the Earth Shatter about a little over 80% away.
Oh, no.
Can they do it? The Ice Wall comes in. Oh, not quite. Gets walled off as well. They didn't know where the back off. Shatter will come in. Just commit to it. This is pretty massive. They do manage to cap the point, though, on the side of Orca King, so they can still work it out, and they actually managed to punch TKO off the map, and they will finally win up this fight, so they do have it for themselves.
And that's exactly what I was telling you about those environmental kills, Bemi. They are dangerous. I think the mistake there that came in from Pandemic was they stepped off the point briefly enough, and that let Orca Kings cap the point. And once you have the point, you're more willing to die fighting for it, and that's what let them get some of those cheeky kills like that environmental one to get back into this fight. Really unfortunate that we didn't see that point contested a little bit better here from Pandemic, and now they're already down 50%.
50% and counting. There is the EMP coming out though, but he doesn't find everybody. But a nice little grab will be the cherry on top. The cherry on top. DPS losing. I've been loving this Zarya. The bubbles have been amazing and the grabs have been on top of this. This has been, if there's any swaps that really have been worthy of noticing, it's definitely the fact that we got off the D.Va and focused on the Zarya. They've been absolutely amazing on this.
Oh, 100% the Zarya play has been amazing. However, we have to look at what is happening now. Getting up to 80%, we're in, if we don't see Pandemic win this, Bemi, we're in last fight territory for this first point.
That is very true. I mean, you better hope it's Ruins, kids, because I don't want to rain on your parade, but this could very well be a 2-0 depending on what. Opening looking for not quite. Sire drops the Deadeye. They have to get out of the way and be a little bit respectful of the spacing. I'm better actually able to get Adrian Ocean. This is pretty huge. Not quite, though. Oh, the ice wall pretty big because they're able to get the bubble. They'll slip through the cracks and be able to find it. They're at 99% either way. This is great for Orca Kings. They could either close this out to a 0 to 100, but we'll wait and see what happens. Blizzard comes out, Earth Shatter comes in, but it does get blocked, so this is good timing on them. A boop comes in, though. Madoka able to find on better. Oh, and they're able to keep the Reinhardt alive just a little bit longer, and they won't be able to touch the point 0 to 100 real quick.
Not ready.
Oh boy, Piper. It's getting real in here. Goodness gracious me. Let's see. Okay, so it's Ruins coming in. It's gonna get real scary now. It could. This is definitely what you want to see if you are a Pandemic fan, because this is definitely what you want 100%. For spy checking.
This is exactly what you need. There's not as many opportunities for environmental kills. Kringling is going to be able to spy check and get value for it. This is exactly what you need.
Well, is it what they need to be able to tie this up and boost their morale? We'll wait and see what happens. We are going to see the dive. Okay.
Oh, this is how they're going to try to change things up here, Bemi. I think this is going... They're going to try, honestly...
I like it.
Yeah, they're trying to catch... They're trying to catch him off guard here.
Catch him off guard, follow the back line. I mean, you can only do so much as a Brigitte. You can stun the tanks all you want, but it's just one stun versus a lifetime. They are waiting for this opening before they try to contest. They are going to give the point over, but this does allow them to set up here, waiting for that opening. Oh, not quite. Actually going to bother this Ana back here. They are going to start engaging anti-nade's pretty big, though, because DPS losing me is going to lose the mech very quickly. However, Sizard winning a duel, a long-range DPS duel, which is very nice. And we also see Arid Ocean also rocking that Hanzo. Great with the storm arrows, so that way they can break the shields. Perfectly what you want. Try to see what you can find in shots here. Sizard not really landing them quite. Not quite. Will be just kind of left to their own devices. Will be enough, though. Ooh. This is very interesting. DPS losing being able to find a couple of things before we even know we are able to flip over the point. It's such a scrappy fight here, Piker. It's hard to keep track of everything.
I think this is the swap here. I mean, we have Sizard at range, putting in some headshots every once in a while, providing a lot of pressure, especially with the death ball being disrupted so much by Not Quite and DPS Lucio main on the D.Va. This seems to be the winning comp right now.
Well, wait and see. It's still early into the game, my friend, so I'm still going to hold my breath on that one. But, I mean, right now, you're absolutely right. It looks really efficient and nice swap once they have everything set up there. Art Ocean also winning the long-range DPS duel is massive. Drops the Dragon Strike, gets Saber. A ping comes in here, but you're not alone. Don't worry, DPS. This is going to be absolutely fine coming in here. Oh, but did he get the D-Mech? I don't know yet. It comes to Blizzard as well. It is just kind of interesting placement there. Just trying to see if they can get any control of the ground near point. It's 55% though, and at the end of the day, the point is still in favor for our friends at Orca.
I think we need to see a couple of swaps here coming in from now the side of Pandemic.
No
I don't
one
think
can
that they are
hide
going to
from
have an
my
answer
sight.
But
to this
who?
composition. I think they might need to just do something to mirror this, try their own dive, because they are just not able to deal with the double sniper right now.
Understandable. And even then, I mean, the double snipers find really good opening and positionings. You only have one shield piper. You can't protect your healers as much as you would like to. However, Matrix will do the trick here, but I mean, at the end of the day, Sire does go down, and even then, that one for each DPS duel is not going to be able to work out. Self-destruct sequence comes in. Can you find anything? Yes, you can!
Oh my God!
Man! This is a massive pick. This could easily what it needs to be to flip over the point, and they will just reset right here. Though 99%, nicely done. Pandemic got a lot of work ahead of them, but a good way to start.
That is the saving grace here for Pandemic. That bomb from Weatherman coming in and just absolutely saving it there.
Well, I must say this was
Oh, that's a
efficient.
good little pick.
Yeah, good little pick right there. I mean, Pandemic is about 40% away from being able to catch up here. Well, actually 30 now. And they win the duel as well. Sire going down.
The res
Actually
was
pretty
worth
massive. It was worth it. So we're going to see if they can push up on that momentum. Narwhal does have the nano boost, and they're going to give it to the Winston. Can they do anything though? Dragon Strike will come in. A little bit of separating of the teammates, and actually this is looking really good for them to flip it over. Not quite. Up to picks. Self-destruct sequence though. They have no shield. Oh, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be all right and okay. They are going to be able to live this one. They only get the D-Mech onto the Diva. But however, Sire gets two. Nicely done. Gets both of the DPSs. Could keep up this momentum though. Nice res keeps Sire alive. And Caesar just could be able to win this duel once and for all. However, there is a blizzard in the middle of the point, making it a little bit difficult for them to close it out. There is going to be the Wrecking Ball coming in here just to do a little bit more damage. We'll wait and see what happens. Not quite going to be able to use the Primal Rage to get out of there alive. But for how much longer? We also see Sire back on over to the Doomfist. This is all over the place. I actually know Sire's on the Doomfist. I just realized I meant to say that we're now seeing them on the Doomfist. However, oh my gosh, a straight up headshot is going to be able to get on Larger. This is on better. This is already just looking so good. This is such a scrappy fight. The TKO, AoE, looks like they're able to flip it over. Is it going to go into the map 3? This is the big question, Piper. I know I'm talking for a really long time, and I want you to talk, buddy, because you have so many good things to say, but we don't know what's going to happen. The landmines are coming in. The wind is going to go down. We are going to go to a map 3. It is Lighthouse going to decide it all.
And that's what I was talking about, the swaps coming in, the swap over to the ball, the Doomfist coming in, the kind of counter dive to the dive, and it worked out. They're able to take it, and we are going all the way in this series, Bemi, and now it's anybody's game. We've seen from what was really for the last 3 or 4 maps, a deadlock of the same composition after the same composition. Finally, these teams are switching it up, and it looks like we're going to go right back to the standard here.
Well, I mean, at least we can see them crack down. Finally, they do give in to pressure. They're not robots. We can confirm these are real players, so that's good.
5, 4.
See what happens here.
I think the key change here is Kringling swapping over to this Lucio. That's going to take away the spy checking ability of Pandemic, which was huge for them encountering Scizard earlier on. So I don't know how well this is going to work out for them. Obviously, it's going to give them a better chance of getting those environmental kills. And that might just be enough.
Oh, that is a huge anti, though. I mean, that's really nice. Goes for the pin, able to get it. Anti was massive coming in from the Honest Saber. Nicely done. I mean, Pandemic will be able to get this point right away. And this is a nice little change of pace here. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, that was a great anti there coming in from Saber. Really is what helped them get in there as well. Scizor not able to get off that initial hack, and that's where on control points, if you miss that hack, your team's pretty much done for.
Well, here we go. Are they going to be able to keep up the momentum, though? Or how much percentage can they build? Ultimate economy is a big question here. TKO is winning the Earth Shadow race, so this is good for them on the Reinhardt scale of things. But you gotta make sure that the teammates are alive as well. Fire does nice little stun and night quiet, and they will do it right behind the ice wall. No, but pay no attention to the curtain behind as they keep on going. Now the Earth Shatter is ready, good to go. We'll be able to hold on to quite a few ultimates. I mean, this is exactly what Pandemic wants, establishment of point, and once they have a base of operations, they feel so good about themselves.
Oh, that's exactly it. And look at that ult economy, too. When you talk about a base of operations, that is a base of ultimates that you have available to use for whatever you want.
Deadeye comes in, able to find Madoka. That's actually great. Not quiet. It's going to go down as well. That's super important. That allows them to hold on to the rest of their ultimates because you don't want to be down 2 members and try to commit to this fight. It's getting in high percentage. We could very well see this be last team fight territory already, Piper.
Oh, and the fact that they managed to win that fight using just one ultimate is absolutely huge. Now they are going to be easily able to match whatever ultimates get thrown at them from Orca Kings.
And oh my god, I'm better. Able to set up cryostasis before they get EMP'd so they can drop the blizzard. That's massive. And now they're able to get DPS losing a main. Earth Shadow will come in, but it'll come back from the other side. There is also so much damage coming in. A boop as well gets Narwhal and Ori off the bat. This is not looking good. 99%. It will go into overtime, but the Wick will go down. The Lucio's the last one remaining. And there it is, Pandemic. Despite all the odds and despite what we said about Orcas and how we felt about them, they will be able to close this out 3-2 and finally get a win in the Swiss.
What chaos this series was, Bemi. I mean, it went back and forth and back and forth.
Play of the game.
Just when it seemed like you knew who was going to win it, it changed. Just when it seemed like one team had figured out the other's comp, everything changed. And I think that's really a good definition for this series, Bemi. It was constantly changing, chaos from start to finish, and eventually the Pandemic are able to rise through it.
Pandemic, nicely done from them. Hard-fought battle, and, still got a long ways to go in the Swiss, though, because they are 1-2 now. But, I mean, enjoy the celebration, enjoy the win. It was hard fought by both sides, and won very convincingly by Pandemic. Well done, my friends. But that is going to be it from us. That is it. Any last minute thoughts you want to say, Piper?
I just want to say GG's to both of these teams, Bemi, and of course, a huge thank you to all our behind-the-scenes camera operators and producers here at ELO Hell for putting on the technical side of the show so that you and I can do what we love, Bemi.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. And with that being said, that is it. Thank you to all the birds, whales, and the rest of the animal kingdom for helping us with this production. Thank you for ELO Hell for providing the habitats for these animals to be able to produce these amazing people. And be sure to drop a follow. ELO Hell, Get Good can only go up from here. And we'll see you guys in the next event. See you guys soon.